Hello and welcome back to the SMITE 2 Founder Series in the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas. I was gonna ask if you guys have one more game in you, but it sounds like it. Let's hear it anyway. You have one more game in you, one more set. It looks like they do. We've got two great teams that have been battling it out. There's one more losers bracket matchup to decide who goes to face Team Risk in the grand finals. The first team up who's already got a taste of Team Risk, and they're out for revenge. Team up at 5M. But of course, we can't just have one team out here. You've got to have somebody to go up against, and they've had a bit of a chip on their shoulders since the Atlanta land. But they're ready. They think they deserve the grand finals. Let them hear it. It is Smoke Break. Two teams that have a lot to prove, and they're not done on their road yet. There is a lot of money on the line, and there is a team waiting in the grand finals that needs a strong competitor. We've got 5M's, we've got Smoke Break, but only one goes on to the grand finals. Let's start breaking it down. Desk, over to you guys.
Thanks so much, Mal, and of course, welcome back everyone to the SMITE 2 Founders Series for our third and final set of the day. Best of three between 5M's and Smoke Break. Gormizer, I've got Hazer at inbound. I wanted to get into the conversation, and right as I looked over, my brain was like, oh, by the way, you should introduce people just in case. So there's the introductions. Hazer and I were talking just a little bit ago about like gods that hadn't yet been played. And like some of them made a little more sense. Like we haven't really seen Neith or Mordred, right?
Or Aladdin.
Yeah, well, that's the one that I was like, he's up at the top. I can envision the boos that are going to come in about, I don't know, like 5-ish minutes or so, maybe a little longer, when he gets banned again, more than likely. But there are others that I'm really curious about, you know, like Poseidon, and Kepri's the one, because he was, me and you kept having this conversation in one of our previous desks, where we'd be sitting there and we'd be like, oh, you know, this support's gone, or this one's taken, or, you know, whatever. I'd be like, where is he? It's just nobody's playing him.
Yeah, the unfortunate part, I actually think Kepri's okay. The issue is a lot of the supports are really strong in this tournament. Ymir Yamoja, really, really good. Geb, really good. Afro,
fantastic,
really good.
Yeah.
So, like, Kepri's fine, but you're not banning 4 supports. So it's just unfortunately,
so you're never gonna have to get to him.
Yeah, Kepri's just to the wayside. But if I do see, like, 3-4 bans, I do think Kepri's probably one of the next up supports.
Yeah, no Sobek either, I think, so far this one. I don't remember seeing
Jake played it
maybe
once.
Jake,
Jake
maybe
played it
Jake.
once.
Wow, yeah. Well, you know.
But hey,
I'm trying to say something there.
Realistically, this is personally why we have your like stack of notes, so we can go back and look at all of them, so we can try and find them. Because I have some written down that I'm sure, like, I can't remember. Bacchus?
Nope.
No back.
Okay, good. I'm glad I have them written down. What are we looking at? Where are we going? What are we doing? Let's look at the bracket and see where it's at. Again, Team Risk is waiting tomorrow in the grand finals. But we still have one more match today here in the HyperX Arena, Las Vegas. 5M's versus Smoke Break. Winner goes to those finals. Will it be a rematch? Well, yes, one way or another. Risk versus Smoke Break. Risk versus 5M's. They've beaten both of these teams. They're the reason both of these teams are down here. One of them is going to eliminate the other. The other is going to have to carry that torch and try to take down Team Risk, both for themselves and for their opponent.
Yeah, and we said Smoke Break needed to step up during last set, and they really did. Like day 1 Smoke Break versus day 2 Smoke Break, night and day. I mean, is it the prophecy? Is it Suit Walker?
The prophecy.
Whatever it is, something happened where day 2 they woke up and they were ready to play. And specifically, Echrome needed to step up. And last game, the Uller, it was fantastic for Echrome. I loved how he played it. He played it aggressively, and he positioned really well.
Yeah, I don't know if he was lost alongside Deathwalker's luggage, but he seems to have arrived about the same time as the suit. Maybe that powers him up too, but he's been absolutely fantastic on the Uller since he came into it. He looked really, really good in that
Space
set.
Jam, they put all the talent in the bag, then you can like spread it out.
Man.
As well, so now I'm trying to figure out if me and you are old and that's why we've seen it, or if he's just out of the loop.
I'm pushing 30.
Yeah? I'm not latching on. Hazard, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No.
You were making good points.
Absolutely okay. I think it's going to be interesting as well because Cyclone Spin, I feel like started off this tournament really strong and it's kind of faded out of it a bit. And now we've got Echrome coming in strong. Leon, I think, has been playing better as well. And I think that's where a lot of the action could be here in the duo lane, where we see that matchup between PBM and Cyclone and Leon and Echrome. I'm really excited to see them face off.
Yeah, I think there's not a single matchup between these two teams that I'm like, I guess like bored with. Like they're all really, really exciting. I think top to bottom, every single lane here is going to be something that's like, something's going to be going on. Even if nothing's going on, something's happening and it's going to be, you know, micro plays sometimes. Of course, those are, I guess, our quick thoughts on it. I know we have some boys sitting down in a booth somewhere. I believe Dave and Trelly.
That's right.
How are you guys feeling?
What's up? Feeling just fine. My name's Dolson. His name's Trelly. There's a lot to talk about here, Trelly. Inbound has never seen Space Jam. I want to go there first and foremost.
I'm so proud of Gore for not going in on him for this, but
But we got all the time in the world.
another reason for me to roast
He's had
Bobby.
some bad takes.
Egregious
Guys,
takes.
this is like 10 so far. Like just in the last 2 days. I think
Have
we
you
can-
tried having better takes, Bobby?
It's not that hard, honestly.
I've not seen Space Jam. It's a movie from like the 1990s.
There's
Right.
nothing wrong with the 1990s, man.
I like that he
Color
said
TV
that as
was
if it was
invented
80s.
like a couple of years earlier.
You guys see what we have to deal with. I hope that all of you see what we have to deal
It's
with.
such a bad take. We're using our caster check-in time to roast you about it, and I hope you understand that.
That does hurt a little bit more.
They
Like,
could
if
be
it's
talking about the
side.
matchup. They
We
could be
could
saying
be.
what they're excited for. No.
Trelly, I am curious, and Desk, maybe you can talk about it a little bit as well. Fresh off a 2-0 win versus playing earlier today, a little bit of downtime. Do you think there's an obvious advantage?
I do think that Smoke Break, they just heated up. They were very confident. You could see them walking around even after their game. I think it carried over, and that's gotta egg you on a little bit, right?
I would assume. Just like we're egging on Bobby, and maybe he'll have a chance to defend himself. The Desk will take it from here.
Sorry, the whiplash of like the tonality.
I've seen
of
that movie.
Oh, good movie.
I can't remember. Someone was sitting a couple rows. Someone that works here. I wasn't just like watching over someone random shoulder. Was watching Whiplash on the way here, and I was thinking about how good of a movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a really good movie. Hey, if you want all of our three white dudes talking about movies in a podcast, no one's ever done that before.
And
I
a couple
think guys
pushing
should be
30.
Yeah. Okay, pushing.
Pushing?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say we've been there. We've crossed the line. No, it's gonna be a really, really fun matchup again because of what we saw earlier. Like, it does feel like Smoke Break are kind of hitting the ramp, and 5M's was already up there, so they're gonna hit each other right around the same time. And it feels like that level of play and that level of like aggression, drafting, whatever, is like, I mean, it's just the right time to be there for a really good set of Smite.
Yeah, and I think your highlight of Cyclone and Echrome, and that dual lane as a whole for both of these teams, I think that's going to be like the point that I'm most excited about because solo lane, I mean, there's something to say about Cherry. I think he did not play too well in the last set against Team Risk. I think dual lane is what I want to latch onto because Cyclone had a really, really bad set. Like the Jingwei game that they ended up winning, he did like 19K. He was down like 15K to streak. They still ended up winning. I need to see Cyclone play like he did day one. Cyclone is a character, player where if he does get a lead, if he does like, you know, get hot, he's very, very good. I want to see him get hot. I want to see him play to that lane. So, you know, slow Echrome down one, but give something to Cyclone. Play around that lane a little bit. Give Mike something also.
Well, we've talked to quite a few of these players throughout all of this. Of course, a couple of moments in that last game, both positive and negative, that come up. But Smoke Break, as they move forward, one of the powerhouses that has assisted that, facilitated that, has been their mid laner. So let's go down and hear from him, Sap Seven, on the stage.
Thanks, guys. Standing here with Sap Seven, as you mentioned, the mid laner for Smoke Break, and you have had a heck of a tournament. It's been pretty back and forth for you guys, but you're performing really well. Now, let's talk mid lane itself. As the tournament's gone on, do you feel like the picks that we're starting to see, are they picks you're comfortable with? Do they benefit you?
I think the meta characters for mid lane right now are actually very fitting for me. So as long as teams don't figure out what I can actually pull other than the characters pulled so far, then I think we're good.
Well, after that last set, taking a big win against Food Drive for Globe, sending home a team that I'm sure you could hear the crowd was really big fans of. They're also big time on your side. What has feeding off of the crowd energy been like so far for you guys?
I mean, it's feeling great for sure. It's always nice being on the crowd side, but all in all, we're trying to focus on our game and make sure we get the job done. We're looking forward for the grand finals tomorrow.
For sure. Now, looking forward to grand finals tomorrow, you do have to get through 5M's. Now, on 5M's, what lane, is there a player? Who are you looking at? What's the target? What's the focus for you guys?
I wouldn't say we have a focus, but I definitely think PBM is one of their strongest players. A good player with a good understanding of the game, a very strong player for sure. We're just gonna make sure that, actually they have to make sure they keep up the pace with us, to be fair.
All right. Well, Smoke Break, playing no game, Sap Seven, thanks for talking with me. Good luck to you, and Des, back to you guys.
And you hear it? I think that's a team that is locked in on what they want to do, right? And players that are locked in on what they want to do. I'm actually really, really curious about, I mean, again, just so much about what this set is going to look like, because I feel like Picks and Pans have kind of been evolving again. You know, a few of these gods that have not been played that I wrote down. Aladdin's the one that everybody's kind of rooting for, wants to see at least once at this point. But the thing that we're looking at, and specifically since we talked to a mid laner, and in a second we're going to talk to another, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, is looking at what they have both in common and separate. And what's interesting about this is the fact that, first off, I'm now learning that not only is the Morgan the most played for Sap, but the BNQ doesn't really go to it.
Yeah, that's a little surprising. He's
Yeah.
shown that he's played it in SMITE 1 before. It's maybe something that he prefers to play the more traditional backline characters, at least in SMITE 2. It is a little bit of a different character that you play in SMITE 1 versus SMITE 2. You also have the aspect, which maybe he hasn't messed around with too much. But I also don't think we've seen a ton of Mori Prio in general besides Sap. I think he's the one that's really pulled it out. He has looked phenomenal on it. Like, I'm comfortable with him going back to it. And like, what is this BennyQ team going to do about it? Are they going to go towards the Mori? Are they going to try to play it? Because Hecate's one. We've all established that. Hecate is the best mid laner.
Yep.
But like, Mori's number 2 probably for Sap.
Yeah, I could definitely see Hecate being really high priority for both teams here, and I could maybe see a Morrigan ban coming out on the side of 5M's. We'll see what they opt to do with that god. But yeah, I think Sap, as he kind of alluded to on the desk, I feel like he hasn't had to go too deep in his god pool yet, and I think he has some surprises to pull out.
What I like is you can see how far back those stats go when you've got like, oh yeah, Jingwei, Kernanos, Neath being picked up. It's like, that's not been happening for a little while there in mid. It was a fun time, of course. Now they've evolved. We mentioned Hecate, we've mentioned the mid laners, and really we've mentioned 5M's. I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to be feeling. The best way to do it is to talk to them. We got BennyQ standing there down on the stage.
Thank you guys. Standing with BennyQ. Now, the first thing I gotta get to, because I had the fortune of casting your set earlier, which was super exciting to watch. You put on a heck of a defense. It was borderline a legacy game. Came up a little short for the team, but how are we feeling after it? You guys ready for this matchup?
Yeah, we had some time to reset and talk it over, and I think we learned a lot, and we're ready.
Good. Now, that's really big to be ready and be excited. Now, we heard a bit over the side of Smoke Break, what they're preparing for, kind of who they're excited for. In terms of targets, focus, over on Smoke Break, what are you guys aware of the most? What are you looking at the most when you're preparing to face them?
Not sure.
Okay. Now, is it a not sure you don't want to tell me, or is it a not sure if, we've looked at enough?
I'm just gonna keep it a secret for now.
That's what I figured. I should know enough by now about the huddles, right? Now, going to this matchup, we just looked before at your mid lane matchups and the kind of gods you guys have been playing. And I asked Sap a similar question, but do you feel like the land meta is developing in a way that kind of supports you and the gods you like to play?
Yeah, I think all the gods I think are strong are pretty playable for the most part, so I'm happy about that.
Playable, but do you think you can win on them is the big thing against Smoke Break?
Of course.
All right, there's the confidence. Give it up for BennyQ and the side of 5M's. And Desk, we're getting closer to game, which means we need some good analysis and some bad takes from Bobby. Back to you guys.
I don't even know why you cut that.
I didn't say anything.
I was so ready to. I was gonna I had a whole segue. I've completely forgotten it now because you're just catching strays, man.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a bad take in a while.
You did say the streak was great, and you were right on that.
I was right on that one.
We've got to keep those top of mind.
Yeah, so streak, really good, and then
Haven't seen
that's
Space
it?
Jam. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, can we get out of roasting me? Get out of it for us.
We'll give you something else to talk about and see. Look, sometimes I'll give you a shovel, whether you decide to bury yourself or bury someone else.
I'm ready.
That's up to you. And the question really is going to be, as you know, you kind of heard mentioned. First off, confidence from Benny Hugh, and a lot of that from the mid lane. Even in that loss, that last game they played against Team Risk, he was like 6-0-6 on the Agni. I know, you weren't feeling too hot on it, and like I think there's going to be scenarios where he's good, scenarios where he's not. But that kind of performance, like to me, tells me that you can rely on Benny as a mid laner. Even if he's going to go, like, you pick up one of these 13 gods I've written down, he'd still probably make it look pretty good.
Yeah, Benny's a player with a pretty big god pool. I don't think you can ever really try to ban Benny out. I think there is a difference between this character is so good in the role. It's not like we're banning or picking it because Benny's really good at it. Like, I don't expect to see much Hecate here, or if it is, it's going to be first pick. Yep. Whether it is Benny or whether it is Sap, that's just a character that's gone. She's just a really, really strong character. She does exactly what needs to be done. My issue with the mid lane pool currently is that I really think it's just Hecate at the top, and then it's like 4 or 5 characters that are just good. Like, you can play them, you're feeling fine. I think Agni's towards maybe the bottom of that, but that's why I think Hecate's so important. She's a very good character. Is she as good as Uller? I think she's probably pretty even, but the difference is, like, Medusa's also good, Jing's also good, so there's characters to pick underneath them. Hecate just stands, like, head and shoulders above every other mid laner, and both of these mid laners played it really well. So if I'm playing either of these teams, I don't want to play it. I don't want to make them, I don't want them to play it. That's what I want to say. I want to play it, absolutely.
Yeah, I actually think Benny Q's evolution as a mid laner in Smite 2 has been pretty interesting as well. We've talked a little bit about his god pool. In Smite 1, I would say that Benny had a penchant for being a bit of a hipster. He liked to play gods that no one else was playing, the Terra mids and things like that, Cthulhu mid. I think we've seen a tiny bit of that with the Rabbit. I think largely his evolution in Smite 2 has meant he's a better mid laner because he's more comfortable on the meta picks, happier to pick them high. And I think we'll see that with Hecate here. I can definitely see him picking it first pick.
I do want to, yeah, I agree. And the real issue is, and I say issue, quote unquote, when I'm looking at some of these gods, like, I was gonna originally just say, like, throw a god at you guys. Like, Poseidon's kind of surprising me that we haven't seen him, because I feel like mid lane has definitely been like, I mean, it's been the Hecate show. It's like you get her or you sit around and cry. Like, you're either really stoked. Maybe there's been a couple of the Morgans, so that's definitely like there. But like, it really is interesting to see this variety overall. But the fact that there are, there's 2 bans per team now, and while that is opening up a whole lot, because now it's like, hey, I can take this away, and most of them have been used. I mean, it's still kind of been 3 bans in Aladdin. It's still, enabling a lot of these gods that, hey, this guy's really good. Like Ymir, Yemoja, they're both really good. Nobody's gonna ban them because it's like, okay, yeah, if I ban Ymir, you get the afro. Like, I'm just sad.
Yeah, and I think pointing out like Poseidon as a mid laner is a good idea because Poseidon's a fine character right now. The issue is in the meta, into Ymir, Yemoja, Thor, Afro.
Yep.
This is not a Poseidon meta. Yes, he farms really well, and you want your mid laner to farm well.
Right, so I'll just
but you're just him. Yeah, put him right next to Aladdin as not played.
Yeah, oh, there.
It's just too hard of a character to play into these current gods. I think maybe if somehow the game goes deep enough, a bunch of mids are gone, there could be a potential Poseidon, but that's what a lot of this is. Hecate is a really easy matchup into these characters because you can just fish for ults. You don't have to put yourself out of position. And then you also have the safety of maybe I just turn around and ult myself out. And she also does this without really putting herself in harm's way. She has such good distance on her abilities. And we could sit here and talk about, why she's picked so much more than others. Her kit just flows really well in the current meta.
Well, we've been talking a lot about mid laners, both the players and gods and things like that. Hecate really, we've been talking a lot about Hecate and then some of the other people that would get beat by Hecate. But let's look at some of the numbers behind these players and realistically, like, where they're at. First off, I think it's really interesting to see, and maybe it's I'm so support brain pilled that I instantly look at assists and compare it to like the death column, because it kind of shows to me here Sap 7 maybe getting a little more in there, but Benny Q may be affecting more kills.
It is insane to see Benny at only 69 deaths. I feel like that is one of the biggest.
I don't know if you heard the crowd as well.
Yeah, nice. Okay, fine. Nice. 69 deaths is very, very low for Benny. Like last year, years before, Benny was not a player that really played for his own life. And I think that's why we kind of see that Necronomicon Raw, because he does position really well now. He is very smart with how he plays. And Sap, at least from what we've seen so far in this tournament, he will play for his life. But if he sees an opportunity to go in, get a fight started, a few times, he will be the one starting fights. It doesn't matter if he dies. He's setting up Johnny to carry. He's setting up even Echrome to carry, as in last set. So there is a little bit of a difference, I think, in these two players and how they play different characters. And I think that's why we don't see a ton of Mori with Benny. It's a character that, yeah, you can hyper carry, but that is not what 5M's have really played around in mid lane.
Yeah, I think it comes down to playstyle a little bit as well between these two teams. I feel like Benny Q in mid is very much sitting back, relying on his team to set up for him, playing these long-range mages and trying to follow up on setup. Because this team like to play 5v5s, they like to play team fights. I do feel like Smoke Break are a little more individual focused. They want to have dives coming in from Banco, dives coming in from Johnny in the jungle, and I think that Sap likes to help with that. He likes to be in there diving, looking for 1v1s, looking for solo plays, whereas I feel like 5M's more team-oriented, and so Benny Q more likely to sit further back.
It really is interesting because you see that, I think, like literally reflected in all the numbers, right? Sap, deaths higher, damage taken higher, damage done technically per game was like 2,000 less, but realistically that 2,000 could be like one ultimate in a really good team fight. And so you're maybe missing out on a little bit, but it kind of speaks to this is a guy that gets in there, this is a guy that tries to crack things done. This is a guy that sits back with the carries. This is a guy that tries to hold on and Benny Q. So it really is kind of interesting to see the different styles and maybe how they'll clash in this one. I mean, I guess, if you're going to play Hecate, you're going to play Hecate. But if you have that taken away from you, your team's first pick or your team's second pick, you lose that or it gets banned, which honestly would not be that far-fetched considering how things are evolving. Suddenly, Hazer, you're having to figure out, well, what do I do now? How am I going to play against this god? Am I going to go, the Morrigan and go for a dive? Am I going to go, like Benny did earlier, for an Agni and just try to survive and control?
Yeah, I think despite losing that Agni game, it's a really good look for this team how well it played. I think Benny ended up 6-0-6 in a game loss and pumped out 52,000 damage. I mean, that is outrageous numbers from the mid laner. He's been really, 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 really impressive on that Agni in that game. The long-range CC as well kind of plays into what this team want to do. They want to play together. They want to have extra CC coming from the backline so that they can kill frontline together.
And I think it's interesting that the mid laner styles are a lot different, but it's also like solo and jungle are also a lot different. Like Cherry and Benko don't play really similar. And it's also in jungle. There's a lot of difference in how they play there also. Johnny kind of, even though he has games where he will get involved there, he'll play the Fenrir and take fights, he is a jungler that waits and finds his opportunity. Scream is the one that is looking for the opportunity a lot of the times for either Cherry to carry the fight or Benny to carry the fight or even Cyclone to carry the fight. And it's interesting that even though the mid laners are such different players, it also transitions to other sides of the map too. Like ADC, I mean, can you really play a different style of ADC than sit back, auto attack? Not really. But in most other places, these teams are just kind of almost polar opposites. And I think saying team fighting for 5M's, you'll have an engager or two, you'll have maybe a little bit of dive, but a lot of it is usually front to back. There's just a lot of hectic style in what Smoke Break does. And that's why I think Echrome looks so good on the Uller, because he thrives in a hectic style where he can just run around, bunch of movement speed, fish for axes. If he finds somebody, he can just one-shot them. And it's the same thing with that Thana, with that aspect. Just run around until the fight looks good enough that you can just take it.
Yeah, that was the thing actually that was surprising earlier, was the fact that Cyclone got the ul, and it didn't look the same way that it did yesterday. After we watched yesterday, we were like, give it to him, game's over, GG, like, it's done, and it's just one god. But then today we got to see that it is fallible, it does have issues, and it can fall apart. And just so you know, guys, we're not just yapping to take your time away. We are just waiting a little bit. There's some audio issues down on the stage. They're making sure they get it fixed, making sure everything's set up again before the players get into the lobby and get everything set up. But looking at this, I'm also really happy that you transitioned, because if it had come back to me, I was going to tell people about how bored I was talking about mid laners now, and I wanted to branch out. There's 4 other players on each team. It is really fun, though, to think about the different styles. I mean, the one that you mentioned specifically in solo lane, like, I didn't even think about the fact that that is, I think, very, very different. But when I've talked to both Cherry and Benko at different times, like, both of them did have a similar mentality. It was just a different way of hitting that, which was, we're playing for the team. It's just how they get to that point.
It's also funny that they have similar gods that they play. Like, they both play the Bellona, but they kind of play it completely differently, where Benko plays for a lot of 1v1s and to take fights that he knows he can win. Well, Cherry picks it, and he's playing to get fights started. Like, he's using that ultimate for engage. He's not using it really for safety. He's using it to get to the backline to take that fight. And I think it's one of those gods where, I mean, Hades is another soul laner that I think has almost completely fallen out of the meta now. Bellona's towards the higher tiers for both of these teams. Is Bellona going to be prioed top 2 pick? The Aphrodite's another one that I'm very curious about. Where is it going to be prioed? 5M's really, really like that. There is a distinct similar gods for both of these teams, but they value them a lot differently.
Absolutely. I think, and you've touched on another place in which they have similar god pools in support. I feel like Yemoja, Afro, both Leon, and Mike are going to definitely go towards both of those gods. I could see Afro being very highly contested in this set. And then I think that they're both comfortable going down to gods like Geb and Ymir after that. Sure. Both have played a lot of this game, well, SMITE preceding it and SMITE 2 afterwards, to be able to play pretty much any support in the roster of SMITE 2 at the moment.
I'm curious to see if they decide to actually delay their supports, because I do think there's a lot of good supports available, and they've shown that they will play those other ones, because there is prio in the Hecate, there's prio in the Ullr, there's prio in the Bellona. There might be a slight delay on where we see those supports picked, because we've seen some early Yemoja picks because Aphrodite's usually gone. Maybe that Yemoja pick goes down just a little bit because we will see a lot of prio in other characters.
Well, the good news is we don't have to wait any longer to find out. Picks and bans here for game 1 again. Smoke break coming off a fresh 2-0. 5M's off a slightly less fresh 1-3 loss. And you were talking about things being contested. Bellona right off the bat.
I kind of like it, because I think it is a character that both teams prio. Yeah, let's get our moves out now.
And at least, you know what? To put a Band-Aid over the wound, at least they did it first, so they didn't give me hope.
That's true. That last 4th pick Aladdin now it stings. Thanatos also banned by 5M's. And I think this is a good throwaway from Johnny. The Loki is really good, but Johnny with this aspect has been running games just to get rid of it. You're leaving open Yemoja.
Hecate.
Hecate too.
Surely? It's gotta be Hecate, right? There we go. Good job, Benny.
I'll destroy it.
And Benny, and maybe that says something about Benny in this current season of SMITE 2 compared to SMITE 10, or SMITE 1, Season 10. Benny.
So, Inbound just came back from the show where he's been playing SMITE 10, bro.
Prioing this Hecate, that's not a thing that Benny used to like to do. He's fine with it now. And if you pick that Hecate, the Yemoja's going over to Leon, and that Ullr is also available. This gives him a very strong 2v2 with also very, very good late game.
Yeah, I'm interested in whether we'll see the Morrigan now actually for Smoke Break. Hecate, a matchup that I don't know if the Morrigan would perform especially well in. That immobility for the Hecate might end up being punished by the Morrigan being punished by, yeah, what did I see?
It said, I want to touch Hazer, and then you read the second sign, so
okay.
Now you know the context.
Well, I'll be out there in the crowd soon. Yeah, okay. Damn, I don't think I've ever been cheered like that. Yemoja and Ullr picked up for Smoke Break, though. They go for their dual lane straight away, feed the hot-handed E-Chrome, get him straight back on that Ullr.
And I like that the hot hand with Ullr. I like the hot hand Cherry getting this Thor. This is the character that I think Cherry's actually performed best with. He looks really comfortable on it. He's the one that when I see it played, he looks to proxy a ton and he doesn't take fights. We saw this matchup literally last set with Karmic versus Benko, but he avoided the fight where he didn't avoid the fight. I want to see Cherry avoid this fight and just look for rotations. pairing with the Medusa, you have a very, very strong ADC to match the Uller. Sobek!
There's a Sobek. Huh. Interesting. I wonder if this points towards a plan for 5M's. Do they want to try and exploit early on in this Umoja? Sobek, a god who is very, very good at locking down Umoja, pulling her back in. In Smite 2, obviously can also ult under the waves, so will not be trapped in by that Umoja ult. So very safe in that regard.
And also getting that execute, you anti-heal the two.
Oh,
I
another
actually
god.
forget that point. Susano. This is, will you agree? This is literally only a thing Scream would play. It's the same thing with Pele, where a lot of people maybe don't value it a ton, but Scream likes playing these characters like Susano and Pele.
Yeah, he does love it. He loves a hyper carry and he loves being able to set up for his team. He likes the mobility as well, likes to come in and out of fights and also to just move around the map and hoover up farm. Whenever there's a losing fight for 5M's, immediately he disengages, almost like adapting back in the day. He just escapes out of the fight, goes and hoovers up the farm and says, don't worry guys, we lost the fight. I'm getting fed, I'll carry this game.
And we see how both of these comps have kind of evolved into what we were talking about earlier, where the 5v5 for 5M's really, really good. A lot of CC, really good front to back, easy to play. But Smokebreak's got a lot of sneakiness in it. Like Loki, you don't really know where he's going to be. The Morrigan, you don't really know where she's going to be. Uller can kind of run around, fish for axes. You have decent team fight because you have a good frontliner in the Mulan. You have good CC with the Emoja. But you will see a pretty big difference in the style that they play towards that later portion of the game.
The one question I have, you know, I see Loki, I see the Morgan. Honestly, I see the Mulan. I feel like there's a lot of dive there and the Susano and the Thor. Like, there's a lot of people who are wanting to get to the other's backline as fast as possible. We'll see how it shakes out as we finally get down to it. We'll jump down to our casters for game number 1.
That's right, Dolson and Trelly, the striped or checkered suit gang, bringing you game 1 and 2, maybe game 3 of this lower bracket finals. And Trelly, we will add a team to the grand finals by the end of this one. Team Risk awaits. Is it a matchup, a rematch against 5M's? Unlucky. Somehow I feel like this is my fault, and I didn't do anything, but I'll take credit. Or is it going to be a rematch against Smokebreak? Either way, Team Risk has seen their opponents already in the grand finals.
I love when we get to talk to Team Risk ahead of time and say, like, who do you want, you know? Because it's usually like, yeah, we'd be okay with facing 5M's again, Smokebreak, we feel more confident against, things like that. What are they saying?
I believe Doug.
Well, you know
Doug
what?
deserves
Can
every
I just
cheer.
say, yeah, Doug does deserve it. Round of applause for Doug.
Doug is, look, don't get me wrong, everyone here working hard to put on a great show. Doug, all of production, everyone back there, they are on it 100% of the time. Us casters, we get a little break every once in a while. No, they're fully on it, and Doug's been bringing us the action all week long. Still has a couple more sets to go. 5-man grouping from 5M's. You've maybe got a pluck from PBM if you can find that target, but Smokebreak aware, nobody gonna be caught by surprise.
If I know Mike, he didn't put a point in any ability yet. He was waiting to see if the pluck even presented itself. Still an option, of course, but at this point, Smokebreak, they know that 5M's are a team that like to group up, like to look for those aggressive plays whenever possible, and you definitely don't want to eat an axe. I bet you he still didn't level it. I think he's chill like that.
I'm a big mistaker of level something right away when I'm watching.
I knew it. He didn't level it yet. See, Mike, he's patient. He's calm. He's collected.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm leveling something every single time, and usually it bites me. But Mike hanging out in case there was maybe an opportunity for a pluck.
Right. If the pluck opens up, great. You level it. You take it. Your team tries to kill. But if you do that and you don't kill, now you're stuck with pluck for the rest of your level 1. And that could, who knows how long that could take. You look over at Cyclone Spin. He didn't start Bluestone or anything. He went the traditional Bumba's Dagger, which means you're clear. Not going to be the best early on. Level 2 doesn't take a while.
Well, Benko proxies out the first wave and then rotates over and steals away a couple of the camps on Cherry's blue buff. This solo lane Trelly is going to be one to watch all set long. Benko is really heated up throughout the middle portion of our afternoon. Cherry had a couple good games in our first set. Also a couple tough ones.
Yep.
And Cherry's going to have to turn things around, but this Thor pick could get it done.
Definitely could. I mean, I love the Thor solo. I think being able to rotate in and help the team always going to be a good option. But you have to watch out just how easy it is to gank the Thor, right? He's very killable, especially if you're maxing your hammer. you're going to throw it on a wave once and realize, wait a second, there's a Loki behind me. Or, oh, Benko ulted in and now I'm in trouble. There's not much sustain baked into Thor's kit unless you're building into it. So not exactly easy. There's the blink.
Whoa, Scream blinks in. Could it be first blood? Sap backing away from this engagement. Scream dashes forward once again. This is a 2v2. No reinforcements in and none needed. 5M's get us started a minute and a half in. And it's first blood on the mid lane.
Yeah, BennyQ's on point with the Sakate. I am baffled that Smokebreak opted to give it over to him. Definitely the best mid lane pick in the tournament. Don't get me wrong, the Morgan has a very high ceiling, especially in a matchup like this. You've got Thor, you have Susano, you have Loki. So many great transformations at Sap Seven's disposal. Can't use any of them at level 3 though. And getting BennyQ the first blood, fantastic.
Man, I mean, you're playing right alongside Scream. Gets aggressive, has the blink, uses a minute and a half in. Charlie, walk me through what you see here in this replay.
I mean, Susano is just able to get you out of position when you think you're not, right? Blink in, you got the pull, and the chase down is clean. No way Scream was going to make it, but BennyQ hits the Mez, and that's one of the benefits of Hakate's kit. It kind of trades off every single time you cast that one. Once it does a little bit of extra damage, once it has that Mez, the Mez confirmed the auto attack to make sure that first blood came through. No hammer for 5, this could be bad.
Yeah, Cherry uses the wall, the hammer is down. In from the stealth is Johnny.
Great beats.
And Cherry able to beat in the last bit of mana. Sends a hammer out. So both junglers, Trelly, active in the early portion of this game. A little bit different from those slow 10-minute burns with nothing that we saw earlier in the weekend.
Yeah, the immediate beat just shows how Cherry, he knows how to, he's been camped a lot today. And if he doesn't beat that, he says, maybe I can live, maybe I can walk away, maybe I can survive until my hammer's up. That could have been another kill immediately. So that just goes to show Cherry's like, wait a second, guys. I've been put behind multiple times already. I'm making sure that I do not die here.
Scream a couple minutes from having the blink, but Mike's got his ready to go.
Teleport in.
Slipstream.
Oh, he didn't
That'd
do
be
it.
risky at level 4. Scream agrees, he's aggressive, but not liking his options there. 5 seconds left on this purple buff respawn. And Johnny is over on the right side of the map, so he's pressuring out the blue buff. And in the meantime, Scream and the rest of the duo lane peeling away some of this left side.
I really thought Scream was going to go for it, just because he already was able to go for 1 kill. Does step in. Maybe he knew the kill was coming here.
Oh, he hit level 5. He had the Typhoon. But yet again, Echrome able to escape death. BennyQ could be walking into a world of hurt. Transformation, and you got a Susano now running you down if you're BennyQ. But again, 5M's able to narrowly escape death. Saw it from Cherry and Solo, and now BennyQ remains alive in mid.
And there's so many different ways you can try and chain together a kill there. You only get 1 set of beats if you're BennyQ. I just don't think the Susano's the play. After Johnny already went in, you could have went double Loki, you could have turned to Medusa, but sometimes you have very little time to make that decision as to what you want to transform into. And hey, Susano's a great way to get in or out, so Sap 7 was probably already hot keyed towards it.
Looks like Cherry. He has Anvil of Dawn, but Johnny's over here on the right side of the map. Cherry's been proxying out a bit. Johnny, no ultimate, so maybe no kill pressure. Can't say the same for Duo. Echrome's been half HP or less for what feels like the last couple of minutes, and I guess this is what Sobek does. 1 straight block, and suddenly you're in danger. This could be early, but could it be a Gold Fury group?
8 seconds in, it spawns. Maybe just grabbing the gold bases that spawn here, but yeah, full-on grouping. You can tell they want to go for it. LAO, he knows this is coming. How much steal potential does Yamoja have? We'll see.
Man, this is speedy. It is quick, and it is 5M's for the taking. An insta Gold Fury, Trelly at 5 minutes, and now I'm starting to wonder. Methodologically, that's, I don't know, something like
Methodically?
that. Methodically?
There it is.
5M's had a break.
Yeah.
We're wondering if they maybe start slow. You only have a best of 3 to get your feet underneath you. You are starting fast in game 1. Seems like they did not need much warm-up time.
Dave, I've been taking stock every time a new item is built, and as far as I've seen, hold that thought, BennyQ.
Ooh, Benny could be a kill given back. And it is simple for Johnny on a rotation into mid. Finally, some pay dirt for the smoke break jungler who's had a couple opportunities.
I mean, 5M's have already shown their hand as far as I'm concerned. They pulled Gold Fury right off the bat. Cyclone Spin goes back, picks up Death Metal. The item that just buffs your team and says, let's go in and shred objectives. They've got Medusa. They already have 2 assassin-style backline divers in Scream and Cherry. It looks like they just want to be on top of these objectives consistently, but Smoke Break has chosen Benny Q as their target. Pull his speeds, look for the gank. They're up in about 8 seconds. But Johnny and Sap Seven are going to be consistently looking at Benny Q. Mike has a choice to make. Do you want to sit in mid and try and babysit your mid laner? Or do you want to keep trying to play through Cyclone and look at these golds? At the moment, I mean, Benny's farming fine, so I don't think it's cause for alarm, but look at this. Again, Benny Q is being looked at.
But has the beads this time. And that's a transformation. Note that's a transformation from Sap into the Loki.
See you in 100 seconds, buddy. That's what Sap said.
Assassinates onto Benny Q, gets the beads away. Johnny, though, he'll get that assassinate up here quickly. Guess what?
Yep.
Benny Q doesn't have beads, so it could be an option. ADCs have had kind of differing storylines. Slow start for Echrome, really picked it up in the last couple of sets. Cyclone Spin started hot. Maybe a slower start to today, so maybe it makes some sense. PBM putting some emphasis over towards left, but Trelia grouping here in mid. Go for Leon on this Yamoja. One stray stun. Could start off a fight, but no team fighting. Not for now, though.
Wow.
The team's starting to group up over towards the middle.
And I thought Cherry was going to go to the sky. He did make the rotation over. He was chilling in Fire Giant pit. Had Anvil of Dawn. Did not want to waste the wave. And honestly, I can see the reason why. Benko is the type of solo laner that will take an inch and run with it. And it cannot just start giving up waves to rotate to help your team this early on.
Oh, and I want to follow up on that and hear your thoughts. Cherry, Benko, Mulan, Thor, are we now getting to the point where maybe Cherry can flex that advantage, the semi-global utility of this Thor? Do you want to see 5M's playing around it a bit?
I think you can chill for now. Gold Fury's already down, right? That's the biggest reason to rotate out of solo lane, and 5M's did it on spawn. So that gives Cherry some leeway to sort of split push and just stay away from everyone for the time being. Benko's going to dominate this lane, though. I mean, Mulan doesn't care about anything that Thor does, realistically. He's got sustain. He's going to win. Anytime you hammer in, he's going to try and go for the grapple just to fight. So Cherry is avoiding him at all costs. You see it, hey, I'm just going to go proxy. I don't want to fight. Someone who's proxying the wave is not looking for any sort of 1v1. He's going to run away from Benko every chance he gets. He's behind you, by the way.
Yeah, he's right over there. But Cherio lives to fight another day. Avoids the stun here as well. Scream. Set the gauntlet down early in this game, picks up the Hydras, and a lot of that emphasis shifted towards left. We saw Echrome pushed back. In your mind, is that the right place to put it early in this game if you're 5M's?
At this point, Echrome's already been put down. He hasn't had the beads down in a while, though, and that's something that I've noticed as well. I think Smoke Break has taken stock of how 5M's wants to play.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, remember Food Drive for Gloat. Remember the screeching gargoyles that, oh man, hold up. Echrome's walking right into the death. Oh, he didn't know!
To left once again.
He's so unaware.
All right, give it a second, give it a second.
He missed the 3 though.
Oh no, he gets stunned immediately by Echrome. It looked great, but falls just a bit short. Cyclone Spin lets out the Petrified. And now Smoke Break send 2 over towards left. The stealth trading from the junglers has been massive. Smoke Break with an advantage in the River's Rebuke, and Echrome back from the depths and grabs his opening kill.
And PBM still sitting by, though. Not sure he can really get any active, but Gold Fury is available. Smoke Break has the pick. Oh, an Axe is going to get some good damage. Man, this is Sobek, even with your Pluck Lock, has the Stampede. Going to just zoom out of there, no problem. But this is what I'm talking about, the adaptations. 5 beats picked up from Smoke Break. They're already fearful of the screeching gargoyles that are going to come out from 5M's. I mean, they showed their hand early on in the tournament. Not just because you have a counter for it doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to get value. Getting your beats down for an active item is still great. But it does just go to show Smoke Break clearly said, hold on, we do not want to get silenced and not be able to cast any of our abilities. We are going to get ahead of this immediately.
Oh, Benny Q sends out his ultimate, a transformation from Sap 7. Lets a Petrified fly. Cyclone Spin will live. Low health on Benny Q again, seen it once or twice.
Oh.
But it's died once. Mike just shy on the block, but a blink forward from Scream. That puts Sap in a real awkward spot. And 5M's get their 3rd of the game at 1,000 gold up.
Man, I thought Johnny was going to try and go in there looking for Cyclone. Could not find
he got
him.
him.
Good double tap. But Johnny had the assassinate.
Assassinates away. And Drelly, now you're starting to see maybe some of that rotation power from Cherio out of solo. Benko, moment of CC immunity. But 3 sets of beads now down, Trelly. Is that enough of an advantage in your mind for 5M's to maybe force a fight around one of these objectives?
Absolutely. I mean, Gold Fury is probably where they're headed. 13 seconds on the death metal from Cyclone Spin. Benny Q doesn't have open the gates, but as long as you got your ward coverage down, might not even need it. I'm paying attention to Mike. It looks like he wants to go back to base, but Gold Fury is a very real possibility especially if they're able to confirm those oracles just for extra vision. Me and you know, they're up right now, and I think Smoke Break's going to go face check them. So that means at least for the next minute or so, I do not think 5M's are going to try and take a stab at it. But Gold Fury is always a possibility here, just by nature of these builds.
Good luck from Mike. No real follow-up unless Benny Q can totally shred what you can. The last bit of Omi from Leon will usher him away from this engagement. Leon has 2,500 gold. He'd love to go back and spend before this next fight, but is he going to have the opportunity? Goes back, spends it up, Talisman of Purification now for Leon, but is the timing awkward? ADCs, exchanging autos. The Gold Fury picked up but immediately dropped, so cautious are 5M's. Looks like back in base is Cherry. I think where we see this Thor rotate will be pretty telling of where 5M's have their eyes on the map.
Yeah, I mean, Benko's not rotating out. He's chilling over in solo lane. Cherry's clearly making a path over towards mid just to see, hey, can I help you guys out? Should I go farm? And I think right there it was called off. Queen Naga, though, is being pulled by Smoke Break, and that's something that Mike does not enjoy, so he's going to go face check it just to make sure it's not being done under his nose. That's going to be the end of the fighting for now, but as you said, Dave, all these relics, they're coming back up. 8 seconds on Johnny and Sap speeds. It's really only Leon who is going to have to play safe, but take a look at his active item. He went back and got another bead. 6 sets of beads on this team.
You're going to need every one of them. The 5M's and Cherry and PBM, if they're able to play that utility lockdown style, you're going to need those beads and then some. Now, Smoke Break fell behind a little bit early on. Trelly now back to even. Who would you rather be here tied up at 13 minutes?
I mean, looking at the comps, I always favor the Loki and the Morgan late game. Like, it's just so difficult to always be aware. But here you go, 5M's. They've got the Queen Naga soldiers, and Goldberry's being bold.
Oh, what can Johnny get done? He'll surprise Scream. Take away about half of his health. Black again, just shy from connecting for PBM. Open the gates, does not connect. This is a very contentious Gold Fury burn there, you would think, from both teams. Already sensing the weight of this game one. Remember, we are in a best of 3. 5M's has to readjust their optics from a best of 5 this morning. Much less room for error, and I think we're seeing some of that play out on the map.
But notice what just happened. I mean, Johnny goes in defense. Cherry immediately takes the bait and books it to Gold Fury. Benko says, okay, I'm going to invade your back camps and then just sit on teleporter. Benko sat there and said, are they pulling gold? They're not. Great. I'm pushing a wave under tower, and now I'm a level ahead. Maybe it's about half a level at this point, but Benko is slowly getting a lead, whereas Cherry just ticked over to level 15. It's going to start to add up if 5M's keep baiting Cherry over with these attempted Gold Fury pulls. That's how Smoke Break is getting back into this game, and I think it's going to continue because a Fed Mulan in the backline is not easy to deal with.
And for all the pressure, Trelly, that Scream put on left early, it's still a 2-level lead for Echrome. 3-level. I imagine Cyclone will hit 14 here shortly. Echrome was really focused. Remember the left side jungle invades? All for Echrome to catch right back up this Uber, I have to imagine. It's going to be in a really scary spot here when the next team fight breaks out.
I mean, just look at build-wise, though. Cyclone Spin is not building to fight on Uller. He's building to shred through objectives and tanks. That's what the Kins and the Death Metal are going to provide. Later on, sure, Medusa's going to be fine. She's very quick. She can strafe. She can juke the axe. But for now, Echrome can little bro him every time he walks up the lane. It's just not a fight that you ever really want to take. So that's why Cyclone is just staying under tower. At the moment, not even there. They're going to fire, dude. 15 minutes it spawns in, fully grouped up. Smoke Break's gone.
Need 4 seconds for Fire Giant to respawn. They sneaky pull from 5M's. Gotta let them get it, and we'll yell and scream if they're able to confirm it. Right now, Smoke Break have no idea that this is happening. All the ward coverage over on the left side of the map, and it's 5M's now burning the FG. We can yell about it as they grab it. In go 5M's, 15 minutes on the fire.
And that's exactly what this build does. If nothing else, it shreds through objectives. The Death Metal pops on everyone, all these ultimates used, but you get the FG and you get out. Echrome, sure, farming up on the left side of the map. Assassinate just to get Johnny out of trouble for now, but Leon, he can get executed here.
It's gonna get worse. It's a kill for Cheerio on Leon. So in the last 15 seconds, Fire Giant has been snuck away. Your support has been caught out, but there's some wave pressure building. All this time, Echrome knocks down a tower on the left side. Cyclone's been sensing Johnny. But how about that from 5M's? And I think, Trelly, that plays in a bit to what you're talking about with the builds, building to shred these objectives.
Yeah, they revealed their play style pretty much immediately. I could tell from that first Gold Fury what they were planning on doing. Smoke Break wasn't prepared for it. Sure, they did fine. Echrome was able to push another wave under, take the tier 1 tower. They still got farm elsewhere. But 5M's are just trying to fast track every objective on the map and add another one to the list. Pyromancer goes down.
Man.
Look at the difference between gold and XP. That is insane.
You don't see that all that often, but 5,000 experience ahead are 5M's. Gold split right down the middle. And that's extra surprising, again, considering Echrome is 3 levels ahead, because everywhere else on the map, man, or it's a lot of it's in Echrome rather, but 5M's feeling just fine in the gold. That's why it's surprising me, because it's Echrome who's got so much of that XP difference.
I mean,
Maybe meaning that Smoke Break need to fight around this left side or Scream. Thought he had a chance, but again, Echrome is in a pretty good spot. Ooh, blink in for Mike, but a leap away from Echrome. Uses the beads as well. Riptide confirms the escape, and an ultimate down from Cyclone Spin.
yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. Benko's ahead, Johnny's ahead, Sap's ahead. They're all ahead.
Caught me by surprise.
They just can't catch up in the objective farm. They need to get better ward coverage is what it is, because I still think Smoke Break is a very solid fight. Cherry with the dunk. See you later, Echrome.
And what a target at Echrome, where so much of that experience is. We are 17 minutes in, Fire Giant, and now a tier 2 tower on left. Echrome is dead for 45 seconds, Trelly. Could it be a Phoenix push?
It absolutely could be. They've got the death metal. They're going to group up and go for it. Looks like it's just a bit of a bait with the runic bomb, but it's getting low.
Oh my goodness. 5M's, after a break, press down the gas here in game number 1. They're just shy of knocking down the Phoenix. Benko steps forward, still 24 seconds. On Echrome's respawn, transformation, ultimate now down from Sap Seven. A pluck from Mike, forces away. Another set of beads, or maybe the talisman of purification. Watch out. Your Cherry, you don't want to give a free one right back over. This Phoenix low and now taken down by 5M's. Dagger confirms the escape.
Wow, but Johnny was waiting for you, Cyclone. Do you have the damage? No, he's going to assassinate out. Johnny did not like that engagement and immediately resets to get some better positioning. That's the best way to use the dagger, by the way. Cyclone said, don't worry, guys. I'll tank up the Phoenix. I have a second life as long as I get underneath 400 or 500 HP. Go and grab another objective for you. I mean, 5M's have shown they don't care about PvP. They are just going to own the map as much as possible. Cherry goes up to the sky just to act as a ward for his team, and they continue farming up the map. I mean, Smoke Break, it seems like everything's happening too fast for them to react.
And what I was referencing is you don't often see is what we're now seeing. We're one team way ahead in gold, but also way behind in experience.
Yep.
What is this telling you, though, about 5M's and the way that they're playing? Is this just out macroing, plain and simple?
Yeah, you can tell that Smoke Break is doing the right plays when it comes to just, okay, let's push the wave under, let's deny them this farm. And 5M says, go ahead, do all that. We are going to get to the objectives. At the moment, it's ended up working out for them, right? They are getting immediate power spikes. Cherry's looking good. Scream has been in the right position. I do worry about the power spikes that Echrome and Sap 7 and Johnny are going to hit. Like, that is still real. These items are there. And the big difference is the map state. That left side bird being down does mean someone is going to be hamstringed every time a fight wants to take place on the right side of the map. Usually Johnny, he's the quickest. He can get around the map quickly, but it's still, you're not going to be able to fight with your jungler for this Pyromancer or for this next Fire Giant.
You're maybe wishing, if you're Benko, that you have that global utility. You could push out left, rotate over to right with your ultimate. Maybe you're going to be wishing that you were alive, as Scream has found some damage onto the Mulan. And
Cherry's up.
Nobody level 20 yet. Cherry had eyes for Benko. Is tired of the way the laning phase have gone. XP starting to equalize a bit across the map. Bit of a steeper hill to climb if you're Cyclone Spin. A block from Mike. Connects onto Leon, who steps forward looking for the River's Rebuke. Finds it. Oh no, but Mike has been left.
He's alive.
All alone. Sap 7 with the opening kill. And Smoke Break with the 5v4 advantage.
Smoke Break still wants to chase this one down. Pyromancer still very much alive, but without Mike, who's going to step up? Who's going to be that leader for 5M's? It seems like Scream wants a pull, but Smoke Break, they've got the sustain, Dave. They have a Yemotion. They can heal up here.
Oh, Scream is spotted out in the brush. Assassinate in! But what has happened to Johnny's health bar? It's empty, says Cherry, and there's still a wall on the other side of the fight. This Thor alone, though, in the Pyromancer pit. Smoke Break not desiring to go in, sensing maybe the fight had run its course. And there will be a slight momentary
Sap.
30-second advantage for PBM.
Get the beads.
And the beads pulled away from BennyQ as the Fire Giant respawns.
But remember, you're on a timer here if you're Smoke Break. That Phoenix is down. Fire minions are going to start to pour in, which means Pyromancer should, by all accounts, go the way of 5M. They just decide to group up and go for it. But given BennyQ's positioning and where he just put his second ability, I don't think they want the Pyromancer, Dave. I think they're going in for fire.
Yeah, the first Fire Giant was sneaky. This one may be a bit more obvious if you're 5Ms. Smoke Break are aware, plenty aware that this is happening. That's a blink forward from Mike. A block connects onto LAO. No, it's Benko. And it's Cyclone Spin, finishing off the kill. Open the gates. More a deterrent now in the solo laner for Smoke Break. Decimated by 5Ms. No Runic Bomb. There is an Anthill of Dawn. Does Cherio just play Separator here? The Fire Giant low. Elaon dodges out the stun, but the Fire Giant dropped, and so is Elaon.
Fire Giant picked back up, and it's gone. Scream gonna be able to take that one, no problem. And now, might as well push on forward. That Phoenix is gonna spawn into the left side of the map. You can go ahead and push right to 5Ms. Sap Seven trying to lead them on a little bit of a goose chase. Get as much gold in your pocket as you can while Benko and Elaon are still respawning. This should be at least one free Phoenix. Without your tanks, I mean, Smoke Break has to give this up.
Heck of a game so far from BennyQ. Ended their set earlier on with, what, 60,000 damage on the Agni, picking up right where you left off. Top damage in the game by 7 or so thousand. A tier 2, a Phoenix cleaned up on right. And Trelly, there's going to be maybe a simple Phoenix on left once you go back and spend up. How pivotal, though, has this Sobek been in this game? 6 of 8 affected kills for PBM, and this most recent fight, no different.
I mean, the immediate pull onto Benko, he had the beats just a little bit late on it and gets blown up. Benko has been such a staple to Smoke Break's team fight. He's very tanky, he's very disruptive, and without him, it was the immediate pull. Not only that, Phoenix was spawning over on the left side, so Johnny had to be gone. You've essentially, that pluck takes 2 out of the fight immediately. Mike has been on point. I love when PBM is on these more aggressive supports as opposed to something in the back line, like the Geb we saw earlier.
When he's looked his best in his career, for sure. And game 1, no different. If 5Ms, and they're able to confirm the Gold Fury, if 5Ms able to clean up game 1 here, all conversations about who has the advantage out the window. 5Ms came with a vengeance. And Charlie, I think maybe caught Smoke Break off guard.
100%.
The aggressive, objective style of gameplay, because they were down on XP for the first 15 minutes.
Wow, I mean, Cyclone, the Medusa build has been changing and evolving throughout this tournament. The Berserker Shield has pretty much become a staple, but Triton's Conch, it's going to give you strength and int, which Medusa loves, but how far are we from just seeing full tank Medusa in the lane at this point?
Hopefully a little way away.
Like we have 2, 3 damage items, and the rest are just tank stats. I mean, it's working out, right? If you're worried about getting one tapped by Echrome, that'll stop you. Cherry Force, the Sky doesn't quite run away, but also doesn't go in.
Phoenix able to sustain back up to half HP. Mike takes the gates in, gets a Gluck in as well, lurking in the waters. We get him out of the River's Rebuke. So both support ultimates off the map. Really 3 ultimates aside down. Junglers and carries still have them ready to go. If you can really call Echrome's ult an ult, but watch out for Cyclone Spin on an engage.
Yeah, Johnny really the only one that can make a difference here once you go to the back line, but 5M's, they just want the objective. They just want Phoenix.
BennyQ just walks forward and eats half of his health in damage. Mike, regardless of ult, always a threat. Straight block, 4 sets of beads though. Ready to go for Smoke Break. Echrome would be a great target if you're able to find it. Leon uses his beads, backs away. Phoenix shelling out some damage. Cyclone Spin steps forward. Dashes away once more. Phoenix solo and maybe one more push away from being 2 Phoenixes down. Our Smoke Break is that your time to go? That's the question. Mike walks forward. Phoenix cleaned up by 5Ms, but they may want more. Up goes Cherry, and no, they want less. Out go 5M.
Yep, you lose the Croc, you gotta go ahead and back. If I'm Smoke Break, I'm attempting a soft chase into a Pyromancer pull. That's all you can really go for. No one's gonna lazy back. Ancient Fury's not here. You have to get as many objectives as you can in the meantime. Your right side Phoenix will spawn back. That's gonna happen any second now. But Fire Giant once again is gonna get pulled by 5Ms when the left side bird is down. They're just being so strategic about the way they're surgically removing structures off the map to make sure that Smoke Break can never have an organized 5v5. Even if they are able to find a pick, even if they can pull a relic, they're never grouped. It's never enough because the map is just so split.
And I think the 4 sets of beads being down has been pretty indicative
Yep.
of what we've seen just in this game in general from Smoke Break. Had to buy, or start with 5 sets. And Mike and the rest of the boys have been getting those cleaned up on cooldown, especially underneath the Phoenix's Fire Giant buff falls off. The 15-minute sneak worked great. The 20-minute pull was more obvious, but worked out just the same. Our Smoke Break stepping up for the next one that we'll see here in a couple minutes.
They're gonna have to try, but again, it's gonna be at worst, I mean at best, a 4v5, assuming that 5M's can play it properly and just sort of stall until the Phoenix starts to get pressured. And if Mike is able to delete someone with a pluck, your 3v5 is unwinnable. There's just no way that's gonna go your way. So Smoke has to play this so careful. Send Johnny back over to left, have him farm up as much as possible, and then sort of ward and wait. Fire Giant burst, definitely in the pocket of 5M's with that Runic Bomb that Cherry was just got. The only plus side I see is that whenever Fire Giant gets low, Cherry goes to the sky, usually ult, so maybe not gonna be able. Oh,
Scream!
my goodness!
Oh my god, he one-taps Johnny! And maybe this equation now much easier for 5M's. They'll group up and run right down mid lane. Rest of Smoke Break back to base. What a play from the Susano.
I mean, he had Assassinate, died even through the ultimate. That is a ridiculous amount of burst damage. Drops the Scream for knowing his numbers, and now mid-Phoenix becomes very real here for 5M's.
Maybe the game if you're able to find a couple more picks. Cheerio has ult. Everyone has ult. You've got a stun and a set of beads away from Echrome. Under pressure, Trelly all game long. Echrome has not felt safe.
Sap 7 has ult, has beads. Phoenix no longer a target. 5M's going to play this one slow. They recognize Johnny's down for 15 and Sap has to clear out left lane. This is, at worst, a 5v3. Can LA can Benko get here in time to try and stall? That's all they can do because Mike hasn't plucked yet. He's going to go for it the second you walk up.
We have seen some funky Fire Giants this weekend. Does it get crazier? Sure doesn't. Cheerio gets the FG and he goes to the skies as well. Slams down, but it's a separator. In the back line, Cyclone Spin evaporates LAON, and it looks like Benko may follow suit. One more pluck, one more bit of CC away, and Smoke Break having to backpedal, and 5M's pressing the gas pedal. One more for Cyclone.
They're gonna run it down right. They've got 3v5 here. Smoke Break playing this one smart, playing it slow, but they need to find a pick. I mean, 5M's, they can do no wrong here, Dave. They just want to grab the Phoenix. Are they going in for the Titan? It sure looks like it.
Just need one more fight in order to clean up game number 1 of this best of 3. Instead, they're going to play it smart. They've played objectively. 5M's has all game long. The mid lane, Phoenix cleaned up as well. 2 members still respawning for Smoke Break. Benko, 30 seconds left. One more pluck. 3 sets of beads. No Talisman of Purification ready to go. 5M's back away. Eyes for the left side, Phoenix. Trelly really close to a statement being made here in game number 1. Smoke Break in desperation.
That ring around Cyclone Spin, that means he's holding the dagger. If he gets too low, has an extra life, no problem. All Phoenix is gone. 5M's are, in my opinion, I think they're faking this, right? Sure, they don't full on dip. Maybe they grab Ancient Fury, but no, Phoenix is up. Yeah, I think you sit around the corner and wait to see if you can find something. Sap 7, possibly looking for a flank.
Sap is out in the jungle.
Yeah, maybe coming from the back
Yeah,
wouldn't
he'll
be
go
such
back.
a bad idea. I mean,
He'll go back.
You guys got to go for something here.
I was wondering if maybe 5M's realized it and we're just going to shove quickly, see if you can get a 5v4. Bit disjointed or Smoke Break, but they'll backpedal away, group up with one another. You're going to need a miracle initiation onto someone here, Trelly. Who is Smoke Break looking for?
I mean, at this point, Cyclone's not a great target. He's got the dagger and he's quite tanky. It would have to be Benny Q or Scream. Scream doesn't have beads. They have no real purification beads either, but Titan.
Oh my goodness. Smokebreaker sending up a prayer and so far has not been answered. Titan looked at by 5M's. It has been clean, it's been efficient, and it is now done. 5M's pick back right where they left off at the beginning of our morning. They dropped the first set, but Trelly, break, no problem for 5M's.
Surgical game from 5M's. From the first minute, the first second the Gold Fury spawned in, it was very clear that they were going to dominate every objective on the map. Smokebreak found some farm, Dave. They found some XP, but what they could not find was an objective to their name. I don't think they were able to confirm a single one.
And I think that speaks to some confidence to me. Again, you play this morning, you drop a 3-1 set. high intensity 3-1 set, I will add.
For sure.
And then in game one, to pull a 15-minute FG, sneak it away. W crowd, by the way, not giving that one away, letting 5M's get in, pull it away. That really sets the tone, I think, for the next 15 minutes of game one.
Exactly. Smokebreak has a choice to make now. Are they going to draft a composition that can actually shred objectives as well? Do they try and just fight and overwhelm them? Or do they say, you know, we have to change our strategy up entirely?
Yep.
Time will tell, but I think the Medusa was very instrumental in shredding through those objectives quickly and maybe a way to try and stop them, because even though Ecrom had this massive lead on Uller, it wasn't enough.
No, I don't know if we ever saw that massive lead come to fruition in any of these team fights. 5M's, goodness, they're one game away from a rematch with Team Risk in the grand finals. Can they get there? We'll see what changes are made right after this.
SOS. 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 I got you, yeah. SOS. Thought you was a threat. I do real life, do no tip and tap on the internet. We don't do that. See, I've been a threat and I've been a vet. Thought you knew that way I'm cashing checks. I don't owe no debts. I've been through that. See you, SOS. 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 See you, SOS. Need a life vest. Need no mic check. SOS. 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 See you, SOS. We don't talk checks. We get to it. We get to it, yeah, we do it, yeah, I go up. We influence, yeah, see me moving, yeah, I glow up. Every time I show up, I can flip my switch out. They act like they know us, but they know dog on big dog. Asking if it's still a flex, say they better go ask Booyah. Never think I'm gon' check, better pull up like woo. Come to place and I'm the best, I ain't worried about none who y'all. 24, no rest, stand on business, I'm too tall. Thought you was a threat, I do real life, do no tip and tap on the internet. We don't do that, see I've been a threat and I've been a vet. Thought you knew that way I'm cashing checks. I don't owe no debts, I've been through that. See you, SOS. 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 See you, SOS. Need a life vest, need no mic check. SOS. 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 See you, SOS. We don't talk checks, we get to it. All in for the jackpot. Every time I want the last shot, championship rings. Went to starter from a mascot, went to rollies from a G-Shock. Brand new kettle, no teapot. You should know I don't play. Go sicko mode like I'm T-Scott. Eagle vision from the treetops. Went to image from a green dot. Never had no limit, but I had some Reeboks. Keep it humble, but the fee's not. In the game, no free spots, but I earn what's mine. Nothing less, I'ma shine. Thought you was a threat. I do real life, do no tip and tap on the internet. We don't do that. See, I've been a threat and I've been a vet. Thought you knew that way I'm cashing checks. I don't owe no debts. I've been through that. See you, SOS. 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 See you, SOS. Need a life vest. Need no mic check. SOS. 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 See you, SOS. We don't talk checks. We get to it.
I dream about things way beyond this atmosphere. Can you imagine floating weightless, like a satellite in the black sky?
Run.
everyone. It's my 2 Founders Series here in the HyperX Arena, Las Vegas. My name is Gormizer. Joining me once again are Inbound and Pazer. Of course, if you're watching here in the venue, hopefully you're just having a blast. You know, drinks are flowing. You've got your merch that you're probably cozy in. Jorby walked by with one of the hoodies, and it is one of the softest things that I've ever felt in my life, and I've never been more jealous of someone not in a suit than him walking around all cozy right now. So hopefully if you're here, you're enjoying that. But if you're at home, the good news is we've got things for you too. You're going to be earning drops as you watch the stream. Of course, yesterday, the Founders Ace title order champion badge were picked up. Today, if you're like me, I've earned my Chaos Champion badge and my Up the Ante Global emote that I can't wait to get home and use. But tomorrow's going to be a really fun day. First, you get the Founders Vegas Series card effects. And the second thing you get, if you watch 4 hours tomorrow, is the Jade Dragons Bologna skin. It looks just as amazing as you could think. I feel like every time we pull the card art up, I find something new to notice. And this time, as weird as it is, because I've been really focused on the green armor, I've been looking at the Scourge, I've been looking at the shield, the headdress, right? The dragon horns up at the top.
The colors are so nice on that skin. The blue, or the green and the pink go so well together.
It
or
is.
Jazzberry Jam, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the Jazzberry Jam Bologna. No, it looks fantastic, and again, it's celebrating. It's always weird to say it this way, but a very special moment in my life because I got to cast that finals. And I'm sure maybe more special for the players who actually won and got that and earned it. But of course, that again is tomorrow, the reward for watching. And of course, the other reward you're going to get for watching is a great grand finals. There's a good reason to be here and a good reason to be around. So make sure that you're tuning in tomorrow, whether you're at home, you're in venue, or just wherever. I'll probably have it open on... No, I won't. There's so many screens around here. I don't think I need to have it open on my phone, but I will have it open on this laptop. What I didn't need to have open... God, there's a...
You almost.
Hey, guys, so
really
let's
good.
go ahead and drop that second. SMITE, huh?
I thought you were going to kill it. I thought you had... Speaking of open, dual lane was open for Mike to kind of dominate that Sobek Yemoja laning phase.
It's taking my job, man.
No, that's the only one I ever have. But that was a matchup where we kind of talked about it a little bit, where you mentioned you can go under the ultimate now. You have like a lot easier way to execute her. You can anti-healer. It's a much more difficult matchup than it was in Smite 1. And I think that makes it a little worrisome to prio that Yemoja as high, because now we've seen the Sobek picked into it. The Aphrodite was also banned last game, so maybe Aphrodite is something we have to consider. There was really not much Elyon could do most of the entire game. And you said it a little bit where Mike played it well. There was definitely room for a little bit of improvement. I don't think I'd want to go back to that matchup at all if I'm Elyon. I do not want to consider playing Yemoja into Sobek again.
Yeah, it did just feel like they had no way to punish the Sobek. Even when Mike wasn't connecting on those plucks, he was able to just get in there, use his tail whip, bait out abilities, and then fall back and make it a good fight for his team, even when the pluck wasn't connecting.
And that's 100% to do with this Morgan mid. She is an extremely strong mid laner, but the one thing she lacks is she just doesn't have the true mage damage to kill the dive. That's not her job. It's never been her job. Her job is to be one of the divers. And if Mike does get a little bit of a lead, you can't rely on just one ADC to shred, especially in an Uller who you get to late game, maybe he can shred with the Heartseeker, the Boombas, Hydra's procs, but you're not going to be killing that Sobek, and this game doesn't go late enough to get to that point where you can actually threaten the Croc.
Yeah, and I think the Morrigan had another issue there, which was there was a Susano.
True.
She just was not able to play the game, wasn't able to look for those flanks, because if that Susano got on her, she was dead. He was going to be able to follow her with that jet stream. Even if she's stealth, he knows where she's going, and he's going to take her down.
And that's with Johnny even picking the Loki into Susano matchup, where that one is who's ever getting ahead, they will kind of dominate that. The Susano got ahead early, stayed ahead, and Johnny would just get 1v1. There was, like, you ult away, he follows with Jetstream, he has enough mobility, he can track you with his big AoE abilities, the ultimate is another thing. I don't think I liked that Loki last pick. Like, there was just nothing really to be done by Johnny. I mean, looking at the stats right here, it wasn't like only Johnny's fault. It's not like the Loki in itself is the issue. I think a lot of it is to do with you play into a team that wants to play this 5-man style really well together. If you fall behind and you're not able to split off in 1v1, 2v2, games are going to look like that, where a pluck means a kill. Even if you miss his pluck, you don't have the damage to kill the Sobek. That's the issue. So I'm not too worried if I'm Smoke Break, where the Susano gets ahead, the Sobek gets ahead. That's the issue. I think you just have to play and track the Susano a little bit more and probably help out your dual lane. Maybe pick a little bit more prio over there so you don't get ran over.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think, well, we touched on it a little bit on the desk, but I feel like it was a team performance by 5M's versus an individual's performance once again by Smokebreak. I think Echrome actually got a fairly significant lead in Joe after being camped in the early game. He was up 3-4 levels on that Ullr over Cyclone Spin on the Medusa before that sneaky FG at 15 minutes. So I think individuals-wise, that's maybe the worry you would have if you're 5M's. You might want to be looking to make sure Cyclone's comfortable, maybe stay over in that lane a little bit more, and that's sort of the bastion of hope right now for Smokebreak. They're going to want to try and do that again, but be more careful around those objectives and be more careful perhaps with some better picks with not so much single target focus.
Yeah, and I think I'm a little worried, like piggybacking off of that. Echrome has now looked really good 3 games in a row on this Ullr. You're probably giving them first pick. They're probably taking it, I guess is a better way to say it. Is Ullr maybe one of your throwaway bans? Is that something where the Bellona is very valued? Maybe that Ullr has to be that second character, because you know Smokebreak has to ban the Aladdin. That's the one thing that we have in our pocket is 5M's is not the team that's going to be banning it. So you have kind of this one ban that you can kind of just throw away, and it probably might have to be that Ullr if you're 5M's.
Well, hold on, I'll do the hype part first. Picks and bans, game number 2, 5M's, they're up 1-0, Smoke Break. Backs against the wall, that one's actually legitimate. They do have a lot to worry about here, but well, there's the Aladdin one more time. Thor alongside it, Thanatos on the others.
So Bellona or Afro will be getting
Ullr.
through here. Ullr, I think, will get through either way. Afro is the thing that they opt to get rid of. Hecate open, Bellona open.
Wow.
What do they want first pick?
The 5M's have put themselves into a great spot. You get Bellona and Ullr here, and I think those two have shown that they are the best in their role, especially with that Thor being gone. I think I really like how 5M's have set up this B's and B's.
I worry a little bit, though, about putting Cyclone Spin onto Ullr. He had a very quiet game on it up against Team Risk earlier on today, and he just had a pretty quiet game on the Medusa there. I worry about this pick being run over in the duo lane, but it is exactly as you said. They get the 2 picks that we do see as high priority. Ullr and Bellona locked in top 2.
I think no matter what Smokebreak picks here, I think if you're on 5M's, you put Mike on a god that helps you dominate this 2v2. Smokebreak has the opportunity to go the Emoja. You probably don't want to be... Wow. So they're actually going for the Emoja, potentially pairing it with the Medusa to give you some, kill potential in that lane. But you're kind of just switching your ADCs. And I think I've liked the Ullr a lot more than the Medusa. Medusa has the damage. She does have the burst. But Athena for Johnny, who really dominated the beginning of the LAN, hasn't gone back to it too many times, but now it's left open here and he locks it.
Yeah, I really like this pick, especially with a solo laner that can stick to people, that can get into the backline and stay on them. When you have this Athena with good damage, it's really punishing. And yeah, hopefully no aspect. I don't think I like the aspect in the jungle. Did make it work last bro, but I'm not sure that Johnny will be doing that. On the other side, wow, we see that what was the traditional counter to Yemoja for many, many years, Baron Samdi, able to suck her back through her own ult when she uses that defensively.
I don't know if I love this Baron pick too much. It is a good matchup in Yemoja, don't get me wrong. It's the original counter pick, as you just said. But if you go Medusa here, and you have Medusa, Yemoja, okay, well that just kind of foils my idea of you're going to be losing that laning phase. But, I mean, Jingwei is just the prototypical hype carry. She doesn't really do too much in laning phase. You want to scale to the late game. But this, I mean, if Cyclone on the Ullr this game isn't able to get too much going, that worries me for the rest of this set. Like, this is a best of 3. If you lose this one, you're going to game 3. As you said, Cyclone not been too hot. Echrome really been the guy on this team. That worries me going into game 3 if we get there.
I quite like this Jack last bit, giving them the potential for an AoE engage, and another
Mordred
one crossed off the list. Mordred, a god new to SMITE 2, one of the coolest characters I think we see in the game. I'm really excited to see him. I imagine that this is going to be going to Scream in the Bellona in solo, but it could go the other way.
Yeah, Scream played the Bellona earlier in the tournament, and we've also seen Cherry play this Bellona. I think, I don't know how you feel about this, Paul, but with the aspect, I think she's a lot better in solo lane, the ability to just proc the Glad Shield, proc the Phoenix Shield, but how Scream plays a lot of these junglers like the Mordred, like the Bellona, he'll happily build a lot of defense and build for the Glad Shield and the Phoenix Shield. So there is potential for flex there. I like this Mordred pick no matter what, and I agree he's super cool.
It's going to be real fun to watch. See Mordred on the big screen. The only way to get to it again. Backs against the wall for Smoke Break. Let's go to our casters for game 2.
Seems like the crowd has a real short memory about Aladdin when Mordred gets locked in. Does that absolve? No, that guy's still not happy. He still wants the Aladdin. Unless he said Mordred, in which case he is happy. A Mordred nonetheless going into game number 2, and it is indeed Scream on the pick.
Oh, and he takes the aspect.
Up. Walk me through it, Trelly.
So, he's got a really cool ability. It's kind of like a sort of passive ability where he gets this shoulder charge where he does a little bit of a half dash.
Yep.
If you take this aspect, it no longer stops on the first god hit, and it resets its cooldown every single time you hit an ability. It can go crazy if you go a little bit of tank stats. If you're full damage, you're not going to get too much value for it. You're probably going to die. But Scream has always gone a bit of a hybrid Mordred jungle anyways.
Yeah.
The question is, are you on point with Pursue the Weak? Arguably the coolest ult name that we've ever had.
Minions have spawned.
I want to see some big ults. Let's do it.
I know. And Scream has been on point. A great game 1 facilitator. Hard to expect anything different here in game 2. I'm glad we got to watch BennyQ get poked out a little bit because maybe 5M's playing with fire a little bit here, Trelly, or Smoke Break rather, playing with fire. BennyQ, even in a loss, 60,000 damage on this Agni, evaporating backliners. Does Smoke Break have what it takes to play around this mid lane pick on the other side?
And that's the question. Little bit of a pseudo lane swap here. Echrome chilling on the right side of the map, ended up stealing away the red buff while Cherry's proxying, which actually isn't stealing it away. If anything, it's confirming it, but that's kind of been the tradition, right? Both solo laners proxy, then they take each other's red buff. That's no longer the case because Echrome takes it. I assume takes red and then flies back to duo because you don't want Leon getting all this farm. I mean, you don't hate it, right? It's not. It's not bad to let your emoji get ahead, but Echrome's just jungling, I suppose. It's interesting. I mean, you gotta switch it up, right? You have to change how game number 1 went, and this is quite the way to do it. But this is bad.
Oh no! What in the world? Leon alone in lane, and now alone in death. First blood over to 5M's. A minute and a half in, nearly a second kill as Johnny avoids death over in mid. Scream's right on it though. Damage traded back. Scream's okay. And I'll exhale over in mid. But the real story is Echrome farming the jungle.
I mean,
now it's Yamoja who drops her first blood.
Yeah, I mean, Leon clearly was holding the wave. You could see he was stepping forward out of tower so that the tower wouldn't deny the gold. And then he just gets chain stun. It's level 2. You can't be that far forward. Plenty of damage coming from an Ula with 2 buffs. Yeah, you gotta just let the minions die there. It's unfortunate. I understand the mindset, but as a level 1, you don't have the damage or the survivability to stand outside of the tower against level 2 Baron and Ula combo.
I mean, it's got to be something different here. As you point out from Smoke Break, the dual lane farmed up heavily in game 1. Never saw it really come to fruition in any of the team fights. And that was when they were ahead. Now they're ever so slightly behind. Mike and Cyclone Spin been on the same page now in back-to-back games. Get Johnny on the Athena, Mordred for Scream, and we talked about the Mordred pick. Talk to me about pacing though in this jungle. Is Johnny able to keep up? Maybe you need a little help because Sap Seven almost taken down in mid. And it has been Scream setting the pace early in this game, particularly around Sap on this Akate.
That Baron's Brew almost finished the kill. It was close, not quite. Be the option though. But I think Scream has infinitely more kill potential than Johnny will have until around level 5 it gets a bit better. Right? Level 5, that's when Johnny's able to ult over and say, oh, you thought it was a 1v1, not any longer. That's just not the case now. You're going to see Scream dash, 1, dash. This is the real benefit of going this aspect. And you can tell he's going some lifesteal early on. Possibly.
And he has ult now.
If Scream hits 5, he's definitely taking it. Oh, he's close, but not close enough.
Man. BennyQ lets a couple ultimates fly. Sap 7 shoved beneath tower. Up and over goes Cyclone Spin. A jump in from an Uller. Echrome trading out autos. Cyclone needs the axe, but instead it's the ultimate from PBM that may save the day here. Cyclone steps forward. And there's a Mordred just around the corner. Are we seeing a tower dive? Maybe Leon rooted in place solo, but instead, looks like Scream happy with just the purple buff. Invade. Uh-oh, what's happened to Cherry in solo lane? Was gonna say solo kill instead.
That was a solo.
Benko on the trade back.
I'm giving it to him. He definitely would have soloed there. Johnny just there for the assist. Not bad at all for Benko. Recognized, hey, this guy's been proxying a lot. I'm gonna head on over and take him down. And now you got a Chalk to try and help you out for Smoke Break, which is good because already a lead is starting to build up. Remember, Dave, at about this time, game number 1, Gold Fury was grouped up at. Does not seem like 5M's have that same ability. They do have some decent damage with Cyclone and PBM, but I cannot imagine they're able to set up for it here. It's just a completely different competition.
Stacking up the Transcendence,
Yep.
no death metal start, a little bit different from 5M's. And actually, Trelly, sort of a tough break for 5M's. They had Sap solo and mid,
Yep.
Scream just shy of level 5, Eleon and E-Chrome, both a sliver of health in duo. And it ends up being Smoke Break and Benko in the solo lane, getting a solo asterisk kill onto Cherry.
It was definitely a solo. Anytime the Storm called perfectly. That's the thing about Bologna. She's always going to Eagles rally your ult. She's always going to jump over it. But if you charge it right as she goes for the bludgeon, she can't ult. You timed it perfectly. So I got to give Benko the credit. Opted to go for Gem of Focus, which is going to be pretty strong on Chalk. I've seen strength builds. I've seen int builds. The int is really for your ult and for your heal, which if you're going for the sustain route, looks pretty good, and that's what Benko has. He did not opt into that aspect, which would have taken the healing away from his reign and changed it into damage. He's going to be going for a little bit of a more spammy, more tanky style of build, I imagine, as this game continues.
Oh, man. Feels like Scream one opening away from going on a warpath that's just Mordred in the aspect brings. Smoke Break playing ever so cautiously around. It feels like Charlie hasn't even really been safe in his own jungle. Scream has set up camp in these left side mid camps. 5M's close to the Cold Fury. That's Smite Cart 2 right there, Clumsy. What are you looking for? That's as close as it gets. Otto's out from E-Chrome, and uh-oh, Smoke Break now. Smell blood in the water. Cyclone Spin needs an axe. No, he's got a heal from his support. River's Rebuke is up. Traps out a couple members of 5M's who disengage through those waves. Aaron's Brew doing some work, but assistance of Scream makes the difference. Oh, and it's a Riptide! And it's all they need, but can Scream close that gap over in mid? Benny Q trading out damage with Johnny. Man, Scream going 2v1, no problem, but somehow everyone but Leon alive, and finally Pay Dirt hit, and it's for 5M.
Man, I mean, Leon did everything he could to try and peel for E-Chrome, but did not end up working out for himself, unfortunately. At least your Jingwei lives to see another day. Purple buff stolen. I thought Gold Fury might have been looked at for a second, but again, not quite enough DPS to see that one fall through. Got Benny Q on the Agni, who's getting some great damage as well. Sap 7, you've got a decent bit of range, but you're not going to outrange an Agni. It's just so much CC, so much consistent poke. You just want to try and avoid that lane as much as possible. You clear, and then you leave. Maybe once Scream gets involved, we'll see more posted up.
We've already seen the Fire Giant snuck away. Is this Smoke Break maybe saying they've got enough shred to take away this Gold Fury? 5M's are aware. I think they're gonna be just too late to get in. No, you've got Cyclone Spin close by, and Cyclone Spin takes it! When an Ullr's close by, you better pray, and Cyclone Spin makes them pay. Smoke Break pull it, but they don't get it.
Man, I don't even hate the call. Leon had the Thunder, but just mistimed it. Didn't have enough damage for it. And now he's going to have to back up. E-Chrome, once again, probably going to have to airstrike. Oh, chooses to beads instead. I thought it would have been the ult, but I wanted to hold on to it for the time being. But now you've lost your purification, and you're going to have to give up your back camps as well. Unfortunate there.
Is that the right call in your mind from Smoke Break? You got the shred and opportunity. I mean, that's a real rough break for Cyclone Spin to come in and steal it away. Did you need to make that play happen, or did it feel a bit forced?
You definitely didn't need to make it happen, but when it's at 1K and you have Sunder, I can see where the confidence came from.
Well, what happened here? Sap has ultimate. It'll get canceled out. We're zooming away once again if we're Scream. Johnny, though, on the hunt. Benny Q. Little assistance from mid. And I feel like when I've seen this Athena, it's been half HP. It's just not been comfortable anywhere it's gone on the map. E-Chrome senses an opportunity. Cyclone Spin, low mana, low health, no problem. to jump out one more time. Charlie, this duo lane has been a brawl from game 1, now on here into game 2, and it seems like, you know, Uller plus Afro, nobody's letting 5M's get it. Feels like Uller plus Baron can fill some of that space.
I mean, it's even more lockdown, it's even more confirmation, it's a little bit less survivability and healing, but this Baron is deadly, as Mike showed. I mean, the second you hit level 2, wrap it up into Axe, that combo is enough to kill just about anyone without CC immunity, which Elion did not have. Opted to go into the Xerxes Hexstone, so has a little bit more of that movement for the time being, but this Yamocha has been a target so far for 5M's.
Charlie, this is something that was happening to 5M's earlier today when you're playing against that core 3 of variety and Feeks and genetics. You blink and suddenly you're 3,000 gold down. Smoke Break have blinked. They've only given up one more kill than they've gotten themselves, and they're 3K gold down. 5M's really has taken that break, retooled some of their game plan, and they've come back with a vengeance here. Maybe Smoke Break an opportunity later in the game. Scream finally aggressively in on the ultimate. He'll have some help from Benny Q. Athena around the corner, not in time! Benny Q, this first of the game, 2 levels ahead of Sap, and the Agni has arrived.
I'm gonna be honest, Johnny, you didn't have to ult there. I think you could have gotten away from Benny Q. It was the only play he had, it seemed like, but I think he could have walked away just fine. He had Blink as well, Dave, so didn't seem like it needed to happen. Bombs coming through, 500 damage real quick. The shield eating up a bit of that, but the reason this game isn't completely shut out yet is because of Benko. Still the highest farm on the map. The Chalk is a looming threat. Besides that, everyone on the side of 5M's is ahead. It's really just the solo lane. So can this Chalk bring enough to try and dig Smoke Break out of the hole they're in? I don't think so. I mean, purple buff, back camp, speed buff now, all have been taken away on the left side of the map. Even standing this far up, Elion's in trouble. You don't want to be this close to 5M's duel.
5M's sensing a rematch with Team Risk in the grand finals tomorrow. Have to beat him in 3 and then a best-of-1 reset. We're able to do so. Not in 3, but win 3. Smoke Break's still an opportunity here in this game. Walk me through maybe some expectations on the build here from Scream. Saw the Reaper for Pele earlier, that lifesteal so difficult to burn through, and that was Scream as well. Now seeing that item here on the board.
Yeah, I think you start the Reaper and then you go into any number of just, you know, you could go Tekko Kagi, you could go to some defense. There really is an endless amount of ways you can build Mordred because intelligence does help him out a ton on his extra auto attack. So I imagine here it's going to be a lot of cooldown and a lot of just tank stats so he can get into the fight, dash around, be a menace, and then ult out if things get too tough. But Gold Fury's back up, 5M's are grouped, no solo laners getting involved, but Benko, he's the first one to start us off.
Could this be, man, this would feel, 5M's get the Gold Fury plus a kill. It could be a back-breaking moment early in game number 2. E-Chrome forced to dash away. Dash meaning ult and dash, so now the Jingwei a little less safe should this Gold Fury get pulled in a moment. Benny Q dodging damage over in mid. Benko, as you've mentioned, over on left. Sending some damage towards Cyclone Spin, but he's really all alone. Cyclone gives it as good as he got it, but that's opened up time for PBM to rotate over towards left. Life of the party, ready to go. Mike has not shied away from initiating with his ultimate. All 5 members of 5M's here, and it's the Athena split pushing. Watch out for that ultimate. Can join this fight in a hurry if need be. Benko sends an axe up and over. Half health on the Gold Fury. 5M stole away the first one, and 5M's able to grab the second one, but here's your team fight. Mike caught in the River's rebuke, but a small price to pay for the Gold Fury. But in goes Cherry, and back he's pulled by the Riptide. Safety found nonetheless.
Man, that was a great ult from Benko. Got 2 targets very weak, and they were able to find Mike, but just not enough. Pyromancer would be a decent consolation prize unless Cherry's got something to say about it. Smoke Break, they need to try and find something fast, and this is their option. It looks like Cherry might be letting them have it. So at the very least, they get a Runic Bomb to their name. But I love that play from Smoke Break leading up to, you know, the 50-50 on gold. They sent Johnny to right lane. They brought over Deathwalker on this Chalk, who is fed, and said, hey, we need your help. You need to, you know, disrupt the backline. You need to run these carries. He does just that. and lets Johnny get some much-needed farm. This Athena was really not swinging. Now that Hydras and Shifters are online, those extra reach auto attacks are going to have some more oomph to them, and he's going to be much more survivable.
Gonna need it, and then some from Johnny. 1-1-1 on the Athena. Again, it's felt like it's on the back foot for the early portion of this game. Scream, just with the 2 assists, but out of 3 kills, not too shabby, has controlled the jungle. Game 1 was a sneaky Fire Giant at 15 minutes. We've already discussed maybe a little less shred potential from Cyclone Spin in his build. But 5M's starting to get towards the gold dominance territory of that conversation here. And Trelly, it's this ever-mounting threat of Benny Q and the burst that this Agni can provide. Top XP per minute in this game by a healthy margin, and not dealt with in mid. I'm watching out for some of that Agni damage in what could be an imminent team fight. Cyclone Spin over on the right side of the map. I think Benko will be a bit caught by surprise, but no harm, no foul. Chalk, just fine.
Yeah, I think the second Eagles rally comes out for no reason. Benko's like, I think someone else is here. I think there's
Keeps
a
it away a
reason.
bit.
Yeah, I think there's a reason that Cherry just randomly got very aggressive. And on the other side of the map, Scream getting chased down here by Johnny. Does have Pursue the Weak, which means he can zoom out at really any moment as long as he's close enough to a wall. But there's nothing to fight over here, Dave. It's not as if Purple's spawning. It's not as if Gold Fury's available. So I don't think we're going to be seeing anything. This is just try and get an opening for Smoke Break. They need any bit of farm, any pick of someone just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because if we're just going at the same pace this game has started at, 5M's are going to fast track to late game and pull Fire Giant within its respawn, which I'm pretty sure they're already looking towards it.
We have seen some wacky voodoo magic here this weekend that have brought teams back into games that seem like a loss. Fortunately for Smoke Break, the Baron is on 5M's side, but you still need to roll those dice at some point. Paniq on a rotation out of mid lane. He's found Johnny in the jungle. Doesn't let any damage fly. It's pressure on the tier 1 tower.
Under attack.
Dash forward, however, from Cherry, just buying a little bit of space. 5M's teaching Smoke Break the hard way what a 4-man grouping with this type of gold lead can do for 5M's. And now, have to be aware, Smoke Break, there could be an objective pulled over on the right side of the jungle. Sap Seven opens the gate, he sent Scream back, and he's caught him out. Smoke Break catch a break, and it's an opening pick.
That's a beautiful play by Sap Seven. Beads to get you out of the CC immunity and send the gates to make sure Scream gets sent underneath the tower. Even with Blink, no way you're getting out of that one. And that's exactly what Smoke Break needed. They can translate that into a possible tier 1 tower, or maybe the Gold Fury that's spawning in here shortly. 20 seconds out Scream, but Johnny doesn't want to get caught out there, forced to blink.
Oh, Mike still wants to fight. This is a 5v4. Mind you, Eagles rally forward from Cherry. Defensive ultimate from Echrome. Watch out, Benko may have an angle here. There's been a purification out from PBM, and PBM's an afterthought. Johnny,
Benko in the back.
that's his second of the game. Benko, an opportunity, but it's Cherry who he finds. Not enough damage to clean up the solo laner, not on his own. Sap Seven, a great play in mid a moment ago. It's now given Smoke Break an opportunity to ground this Gold Fury.
Is he taking damage?
I don't think he is. If he is, it's very, very slow. 5M's don't get much, but Smoke Break grabbed their first Gold Fury, I believe, of the set, Trelly, and that closes up that goal.
Man, I mean, you can really start to see what having a nice fed solo laner will do for you. I mean, Benko just zones just by aura alone. Does not take any sort of damage. Pyromancer, unless a Miracle Steal from LAON comes through. Seems like it could go the way of 5M's, and it certainly will. So that's an extra runic bomb in their pocket. Benko already has one, so it's not as if burst towards the Fire Giant will be overwhelming in favor of 5M's, but always good to have in your pocket.
LAON will have Sunder as well around those objectives. Smoke Break have now taken the advantage in kills. Still slightly behind in gold, though. A bit more scrappy in the last couple of minutes, maybe than 5M's would have liked. Felt very, very in control, Charlie. What do you feel like has changed in the last 5 or so minutes for 5M's and for Smoke Break?
I mean, they just made a heads-up call. They said, we're starting to get behind Benko. We need you to get out of lane and help us. And ever since the Chalk showed up, 5M's haven't had that same level of confidence. Eagles rally on the LAON.
Oh, man, the go button pressed. LAON Riptides himself out. Sap Seven, a target mid as well. He'll be okay. Eagles rally, life of the party. That 1-2 punch. Difficult to read, difficult to deal with. Johnny starting to get a little bit more tanky here as well. forward. So Trelly, that tankiness starting to build up. Echrome starting to get underway in this Jingwei build. Not back yet. But you're starting to maybe see some opportunities. 5M's, they're gonna shove their pressure though towards mid lane. Send out a little bit of damage. In goes Benko. Johnny's gonna join the fight here shortly. Looking for a taunt, and they'll get one onto Cyclone Spin. A great target for Smoke Break to start off this fight. But it's Scream, who thought he was controlling the backline, but he's left running. And Smoke Break, another pick, this time onto Cyclone.
Such a sick engage by Benko and Johnny. I thought he was, jumping the gun, going in a little bit early, but Johnny has the Fender of Olympus grouped up immediately. They dive Cyclone Spin. They want a little bit more though, Dave. They've got the sustain, they have Yamoja, they've got a Runic Bomb, and they have Sunder. Fire Giant started up. 5M see this, but Scream is still weak.
5M's need to make something happen here. A stun onto Johnny. Up and over goes Cherry. He's found two, but watch out. Sap Seven still a chance to affect this fight if he's able to step forward, and he is. As Benko buying all the space in the world, open the gates out. Cherry sustaining, Cherry living, but Johnny fixes it alongside Benko. 2 more kills for Smoke Break.
Benny Q, Scream, only ones left. They're still grouped around the objective. Fire Giants get low. They have not used the Runic Bomb.
Cyclone, he's back from base. Cyclone's the one with Runic Bomb. He's not in range right now. Benny Q delaying. Fire Giant dropped. E-Chrome has found Scream. Smoke Break, roar back into game number 2. Benny Q takes the ultimate, and Benko on a killing spree. And it seems like unless Cyclone Spin can make the play happen, it'll be a Fire Giant as well, and we are even at 20 minutes.
And this is what I was talking about. Benko is the difference maker. Johnny finally woke up. Sap Seven's on point, and E-Chrome comes out of his shell. You gotta give props to the guys of Smoke Break. Even LAO, these Riptides have been clean. He has been taking a beating as far as farm goes, but he has been on point sustaining his team and getting them out of trouble. The movement has just been ridiculous. You can watch just the dive potential, the CC that Johnny provides. It just makes it so easy when you have a front line like this, and Johnny is a frontliner at this point. Take a look at that build. He is going as tanky as possible and still chunking with his Athena.
A tale of 2 halves. Here in game number 2, Smoke Break down big early. I'm talking about a 4,000 or 5,000 gold lead before any meaningful kills. Now we're right back to even XP ahead for Smoke Break. Ancient Fury is up here, Trelly. Fire Giant for Smoke Break as well. It's a defensive mindset all of a sudden from 5M's. But can they afford to play with that defensive mindset with the comp that they've got?
Well, here's the deal, Dave. The Mordred pick that Scream has opted to go has a very, very steep fall off when you're behind. Because if you look at his build, there truthfully isn't much damage. It's a lot of just annoyance and sort of juking around. And when you're ahead, it works very well. When you're now 2 levels behind, you're kind of just a CC bot, and you're hoping that Cyclone, you're hoping that Benny Q can pick up the slack. At this point, Cherry's finding some decent CC as well. That was a 3-man ult. There was no follow-up for it. It's not as if Benny Q or Cyclone were even near that amount of CC. So 5M's underneath the Phoenix, it goes a lot better for them. They can group up. Benny Q is always going to be in range to do that damage. It's just not happening so far.
Obshard, Divine Ruin picked up for Benny Q as well. I mean, think about how tanky Benko has looked.
So much pen.
You need it, right, Trelly? I mean, that's what you have to do here if you're Benny Q. Can you find the damage from range? Maybe it helps, as you mentioned, if Smoke Break are funneling their way towards you. Benny Q can find those openings. The call is to give up the tier 2 towers. On left and in mid, still 2 towers remain over on right. 5M side of the map. Largely not under threat, but this is the big swing Fire Giant that puts gold back for Smoke Break. Maybe a minute and a half left on Fire. Maybe need to find a pick if you're considering a Phoenix, but you're setting up for these next couple of minutes with all this gold spooling.
I don't hate this at all, because Smoke Break, they should be confident. Their late game looks incredible at this point, so yeah, don't risk it. Don't go underneath the Phoenix. Take the towers off the map. Put even more gold in your pocket. Look, see, and that's the thing about this gold differential. If they went in 3, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's 9,000 gold that is in their hand. That means if they fought under Phoenix, they would effectively be about 4,000 down.
Right.
That's why they didn't go in. They're like, hey, we are going to be much stronger in a couple seconds. There's no way 5M's are gonna leave their Phoenix as long as they don't know where we are, so let's just take every single bit of farm that we can off the map go on back to base, make the siege look a lot nicer. I will say 5M's, they still do have a lot of avenues to try and come back here. It's a lot based on, can Mike find some good, meaningful CC? Can he immune good, meaningful CC that's coming from Smoke Break? And can Scream get an impactful ultimate? The thing about Pursue the Weak, it can be a great escape tool. It can completely whiff and make you look foolish, or you can pick up the whole team and just win the fight for your squad. And Scream is the exact guy that I would expect to be able to make those plays. And almost like he heard me, opted into some damage. He's got the Oathsworn Spear now. He will start to chunk a little bit if he's able to chain together these abilities. That's the reason you go the sustain build. But more pen and strength is definitely going to help you out.
Sunbeam Bow, straight picked up for E-Chrome. Full item buy. Drops him down to empty pockets, but an extra item slot. Fine with this. This is where we're going to fight. We're going to fight in the jungle. Cherry. He's got ultimate, should he need it. Okay, he's all right. He'll wander away with about a third of his health missing. No Fire Giant to be missing at this juncture, not just yet. FG is now fallen off. Good news for 5M's, all of your Phoenix is on the map. Bad news, all of that gold has now been spent for Smoke Break. And those jungle corridor fights. You got a Mordred on one side, a Hina on the other. Front line of Smoke Break has felt near unstoppable though, and that's been the difference maker, and they continue to be.
Man, Benko gets a full Soul Reaver as well. This is going to be a ridiculous amount of burst. If you thought he was chunking before, I mean,
and I did.
The Storm Call, charge up into Blink, into Slam, into Defender of Olympus Slam that him and Johnny have been doing are going to one-shot Cyclone and BennyQ. Like, if they're able to find the carries with this ability, it is going to be a ridiculous amount of burst. And not to mention, nigh unkillable. He's got Stampede, he's got Prophetic, and he's got beads just in case he needs it. 2 Runic Bombs, 1 Sunder, and Fire Giant started up, but 5M's are here. What are they gonna do to try and cook this up? Probably been Cherry, but here's life of the party.
Mike has to use his ultimate to get out of the engagement. Johnny blinks off to the left-hand side. Eagles rally up and over. That's Cherio looking for E-Chrome. Can Scream win it? No, he can't. In fact, he's gotta get out, and he's able to for now. The shielding, will it be enough? No! Johnny cleans up the opening kill.
The low health Deathwalker, but they've got sustain. 5M's isn't quite left, but Cherry needs to go on back to base. Cyclone Spin trying to find some poke, but he's got to stay away.
Man,
they've
Mike
got
is
good
low.
burst gear, Dave, but Smoke Break has 2 Runic Bombs. They have so much more. In a perfect world, there's no way Smoke Break drops this, but we don't live in perfect worlds.
We sure don't.
There's a lot of room for error here, and Cyclone, he's got some burst to his name.
Beads instantly from Cyclone Spin.
Let's get low.
Great reaction time. You'd rather not have to use them. Can Cyclone Spin make some magic happen? He turns his eyes instead to Benko, and that's really all you can look at. When the chalk is running you down, Smoke Break back to the FG and second of the game, but oh no! Jerry is stuck around and should go into the ground in just a moment. Johnny on a rampage and Smoke Break with another FG.
Man, punishing them for grouping up. This Odysseus bow that E-Chrome picked up later on the build is just chunking the backline with this extra lightning, and now mid Phoenix, left Phoenix, all under assault, and here comes Smoke Break.
BennyQ has gotta rain down some damage here because the mid lane Phoenix wiped away as if it were an afterthought for Smoke Break. Benko has just been dominant. Leon surging back into this game, but Johnny with 5 in a row has been the story to follow. E-Chrome well underway in the build. Mid, left Phoenix with ease for Smoke Break. Like we said a moment ago, they've now got gold to go back and spend again, Trelly. That Cheerio pick, very costly.
Yep, holding on to about 10K roughly after this Ancient Fury will definitely help them out. It's gonna shut off the right tier 2 tower, at least slow it down. But Smoke Break, I mean, they have been absolutely surgical. There really has not been much. 5M's had a pretty solid dot. Cherry and Scream got to the backline, but what you'll notice, Leon, you may think he's at the bottom of the damage chart because he's just not chunking. No, he's not casting. He's using his heal. He's spamming Riptides and heal. That's the only thing that he's doing. And you're going to notice it when he's in the backline. These tanks are staying tanky because of the amount of sustain and peel that comes from a Yamoja and an Athena. And you know what? It's exactly how you're supposed to play Yamoja to a composition like this because you're not against burst. Agni and Ullr, yeah, they've got some, but it's more so the trickle down. We're going to out-sustain you. We're going to CC you. And Smoke Break have found a way to deal with it. Let's just make sure no one ever gets too low, and we'll never have to worry about you getting a kill. Hasn't worked in a while. When was the last time you saw someone drop in favor of 5M's? They've been at 3 kills for quite some time.
One of the rare instances where trickle down actually works. It benefits us. Smoke break, real close to sending us on to a game number 3. And an all-important game 3. Winner would go on to the grand finals. Loser be watching tomorrow. Right side Phoenix, the last one standing in the base of 5M's. We'll delay out these movements a bit longer.
Trying to build up a super wave.
That's right. And that sounds pretty sweet. I'd love to see the super wave work its way in. Little poke damage out of Mike, but not doing too much. Cheerio around the left side, and Eagles rally could make all the difference. And the alarm bell's going off for 5M, sensing something amiss here. Can Cheerio find an opening? No, he can't. It's a runic bomb on the right side, Phoenix. Mid, left, right, all gone. Cheerio left alone. Does he have a chance? Does anyone here have a chance? 5M's trying to play through chaos here. And in goes Scream. Back towards the fountain. Johnny charging up. The dash in, the taunt, the blink away from Scream makes the difference.
Scream's got low HP, but Smoke Break has not decided to step in yet. The Titan is about half HP already just by nature of poke damage. Smoke Break's got to go in here and go for a unified assault, but they don't want this Titan to drop.
One of the weirdest casting moments of my life. If you're here in venue, you know what's going on, but we're casting through it, and so are Smoke Break. Bye-bye game 2, and hello game 3.
Smoke Break with the bounce back off the shoulders of the Chalk solo.
Charlie, what the hell is going on right now? I hear you. This is unbelievable. The strobe light's letting us know what's going on here. Smoke Break, man, they run down 5M's. Again, weirdest casting moment of my life. Does not take away though, Trelly. And this is how dedicated we are to our craft.
Yeah.
We're sticking it through.
Yeah, we'll be here at game 3. Me and Dave will. I don't know about everyone else.
We'll be right here. Smoke Break though, what a turnaround after going down big early.
Yeah, I mean, the duo lane was all but lost, but I told you, man, that Benko did exactly his job. Farmed as much as possible, came ahead and said, hey, I'll rotate out early. Johnny, go get farm. I got your back, team.
Charlie, I love you, but we're going to take a quick break. We're right back with game number 3.
I've been used by the useless. My whole body's covered in bruises. Consumed by the clueless. So full of lies and excuses. I've let you take enough from me. I'm jumping ship to watch you sink. When you look back and I'm still standing. Remember every time you it makes me stronger than before. When you it fuels the fire even more. So give me all you got. I can't wait to watch you rock. If there's one thing you should learn about me, don't ever tell me. Now you're gone with no traces. You might as well have been faceless. Expose all your weakness. I'm getting back to the basics. The smoke is clear, I'm seeing red. I won't stop fighting till I'm dead. When you look back and I'm still standing. Remember every time you it makes me stronger than before. When you it fuels the fire even more. So give me all you got. I can't wait to watch you rock. If there's one thing you should learn about me, don't ever tell me. Now you're stuck treading water in the ocean alone. Let out light for apologies. How about a rope and a stone? Let you take enough from me. I'm jumping ship to watch you sink. When you look back and I'm still standing. Remember every time you it makes me stronger than before. When you it fuels the fire even more. So give me all you got. I can't wait to watch you rock. If there's one thing you should learn about me, don't ever tell me. Don't ever tell me. Took a deal, signed another deal. Post up in the hills on the real. Headed for a mill, travel with me still. Getting kills, all this pop appeal. Got these pop stars try popping in, and they getting pop for real. I ain't tryna build, I was tryna lead a mill. Getting to it before I hopped up off the block. I was still going through it, friends doing pills. And came faster than it should've. I was Buddy Hill, shooting at a pace soon as I pull up. Dropping buckets, ay, yeah, like it's nothing. In the kitchen, chopping onions. Yeah, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Ay, yeah, like it's nothing. Ay, earn my respect and burn a budget. Ay, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming, baby. Yeah, I'm dropping buckets. Drop some cash for me. Don't worry about my past for me. I'm driving with no gasoline. This life I live's a fantasy. Yeah, I do this for my dogs. All my day ones and my family. My life gon' live through them if I end up in any tragedies. I hope y'all understand this shit got bigger cause it had to be. I always knew I had it, but just not at this capacity. I recognize the gravity. Closer to the summit, stacking chips and counting nuggets. I've been stunting, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets. Ay, yeah, like it's nothing. Ay, in the kitchen chopping onions. Ay, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Ay, yeah, like it's nothing. Ay, earn my respect and burn a budget. Ay, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming, baby. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Earn my respect and burn a budget. Tears falling down, underdog is finally overcoming, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with it who line for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely could trust you. I talked to a shorty, she bagging the bucket. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune. I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe. And 40 on 50 is really the time. Why are you all on my phone like you want me? Like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side. I don't know if you thinking I'm blind. Cross on my crosses and dot on my eyes. Done with your efforts, I'm dealing with pressures. I know it's a lesson, that's word of the wise. Dubbing the mixes, I'm mixing. I know I've been missing, I needed some personal time. All the pictures, dimensions, I don't with your digits. I mean it, I'm staying inside. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it.
time I show up. I can flip my switch out. They act like they know us, but they know dog, I'm big dog. Asking if it's still a flex. Say they better go ask Booyah. Never think I'm gon' check. Better pull up like woo. Come to place and I'm the best. I ain't worried about none who y'all. 24, no rest. Stand on business, I'm too tall. SOS, thought you was a threat. I do real life, do no tip or tat. On the internet, we don't do that. See, I've been a threat, and I've been a vet. Thought you knew that way, I'm cashing checks. I don't owe no debts, I've been through that. See you SOS. SOS, SOS. See you SOS. Need a life vest, need no mic check. SOS, SOS, SOS. See you SOS. We don't talk checks, we get to it. All in for the jackpot. Every time I want the last shot. Championship ring. Went to starter from a mascot. Went to Rollies from a G-Shock. Brand new kettle, no teapot. You should know I don't play. Go sicko mode like I'm T-Scott. Eagle vision from the treetops. Went to image from a green dot. Never had no limit, but I had some Reeboks. Keep it humble, but the fee's not. In the game, no free spots. But I earn what's mine. Nothing less, I'ma shine. SOS, thought you was a threat. I do real life, do no tip or tat. On the internet, we don't do that. See, I've been a threat, and I've been a vet. Thought you knew that way, I'm cashing checks. I don't owe no debts, I've been through that. See you SOS. SOS, SOS. See you SOS. Need a life vest, need no mic check. SOS. SOS, SOS. See you SOS. We don't talk checks, we get to it.
Finally frozen, no more emotion. Started escaping, now everything's numb. Dove in the deep end, stuck and I can't swim. So out of breath, I know I don't have long. Yeah, this is way too much, just give me the rush. Yeah, this is way too much, just give me the rush. I'm done explaining my pain, this is way too much. I wanna feel you, hurry up, give me the rush. 'Cause it's the last time that I romanticize the riptide that's trying to drown me. Full of excuses for way too long. Don't wanna sing another hopeless song. 'Cause it's the last time that I romanticize the riptide. It's a riptide. I'm so ashamed of my vicious problems, keeping the worst of me all to myself. It's overwhelming, not ever tell me the ones I love, but I gotta find help. Yeah, this is way too much, just yeah, this is way too much. I'm done explaining my pain, this is way too much. I wanna feel you, hurry up, give me the rush. 'Cause it's the last time that I romanticize the riptide that's trying to drown me. Full of excuses for way too long. Don't wanna sing another hopeless song. 'Cause it's the last time that I romanticize the riptide. It's a riptide. Don't wanna die, I guess I gotta let it go. Don't wanna die, I guess I gotta let it go. I'm done explaining my pain, this is way too much. I wanna feel you, hurry up, give me the rush. 'Cause it's the last time that I romanticize the riptide that's trying to drown me. Full of excuses
there, SMITE fans. Just wanted to give you a quick update. As you can see, the flashing is still going. Yeah, so the alarm went off throughout the I guess hotel, casino, all of the above. Everything is okay. Things just went off, but ultimately everybody is okay. Everybody is safe. But we are going to be waiting it out. You can tell, at least hopefully by the audio, that there is no longer the alarm itself actually going off, but the lights still are. And to make sure that that doesn't mess with the players or anything, especially while they're playing games, because the flashing could affect them, we want to make sure that we wait that out as long as possible. So it's going to be a little bit. Pretty much we're just waiting out these lights. And then once it's done, we'll be back with game number 3. So thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for tuning in. Use this opportunity, bio break, whether you want to get some snacks. I mean, depending on where you are, you know, get up and stretch to make sure you can stay awake just the extra little bit. But thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll be back after this break.
Took a deal, signed another deal, post up in the hills on the rail, headed for a mill, travel with me still, getting kills, all this pop appeal, got these pop stars try popping in, and they getting pop for real. I ain't tryna build, I was tryna lead a mill, getting to it, before I hopped up off the block, I was still going through it, friends doing pills, and came faster than it should've. I was Buddy Hill, shooting at a pace soon as I pull up, dropping buckets, hey, yeah, like it's nothing, in the kitchen chopping onions, yeah, tears falling down, underdog is finally overcoming, cause I'm dropping buckets, hey, yeah, like it's nothing, hey, earn my respect and burn a budget, hey, tears falling down, underdog is finally overcoming, baby, yeah, I'm dropping buckets, drop some cash for me, don't worry about my past for me, I'm driving with no gasoline, this life I live's a fantasy, yeah, I do this for my dogs, all my day ones and my family, my life gon' live through them if I end up in any tragedies, I hope y'all understand this shit got bigger cause it had to be, I always knew I had it, but just not at this capacity, I recognize the gravity, closer to the summit, stacking chips and counting nuggets, I've been stunting, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets, hey, yeah, like it's nothing, hey, in the kitchen chopping onions, hey, tears falling down, underdog is finally overcoming, cause I'm dropping buckets, hey, yeah, like it's nothing, hey, earn my respect and burn a budget, hey, tears falling down, underdog is finally overcoming, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets. Earn my respect and burn a budget. Tears falling down, underdog is finally overcoming, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets.
You got me feeling like a firebolt, high in the sky, looking like a thunderstorm. Oh, here we go, You're easy to remember, so hard to forget. Baby, it's a coward way you strut. How could I not worship every inch your feet have touched? Baby, run away with me. You kill it lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. There's only one of you, baby. Run away with me. Don't leave me lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. There's no more clouds on the freeway. Now tell me you'll stay. Gonna now and last someday. Here we go. Rose bed, fancy hotels, girl, you know. Baby, run away with me. You kill it lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. There's only one of you, baby. Run away with me. Don't leave me lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. And we'll stay in bed all day. Make love in every way. Baby, run away with me. You kill the lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. Baby, run away with me. Don't leave me lonely.
Welcome back, everyone, as we continue to move forward. As you can see, delightfully, the lights have stopped, so we can keep on moving on. I believe the players have gotten back in place on stage, and so once they're ready to get into picks and pans, we're more than likely going to try and jumping into picks and pans. But we can at least talk a little bit about game 2, if you guys remember what happened. It feels like so. Hazer had to come in. Me and Inbound sat down and we went, wait a minute. There's a lot that's going on right now. What just happened? Hazer had to give us the lowdown.
Yeah, I think what I said was 5M's were dominating. Banco was playing check. Banco's the GOAT. He rotated over. He dominated. The team fight was better. The Athena and the check especially really performed well here for Smoke Break. And I don't know if they were playing so hot they set off that alarm, or if it was that 5M's overcooked with that draft, Bobby.
Yeah, I think 5M's.
I heard at least one groan in the crowd, by the way.
I'll give it to you, though. It wasn't bad. I just did not like the Bologna pairing with that Mordred. I don't think they worked very well, especially when you compare it to the Athena and that Shock, the dive capabilities. And we 100% agree that there's no way that they're going to get these two paired together again. Yep. It's just not happening. The dive threat is too much. The engage is too much. And to your point, you said this Chalk pick into Bologna is just really simple for the Chalk. You just slow the Bologna's attack speed. You farm very well into it. And it kind of negated a lot of what Bologna wanted to do, even giving the first blood over to Benko. Actually, he didn't even get the first blood. Johnny came over and stole it. But it slows down this Bologna so much that I think the Chalk looks that much better, that it's such an easy laning phase for him. And now as we, look forward to the second game, I'm curious where the Hecate Pryos is coming. Is it a bannable character? There's a bunch of characters that have kind of come to the forefront of our mind of these are characters we're gonna have to think about. There's the Thana, the Athena, the Apra, the Hecate, the Bologna. I'm worried about, do they drop Bologna Pryo too much? I don't think the Bologna was really that bad. I think it paired with that Mordred just looked atrocious.
Yeah. I think the Bologna is still good, Cherry has looked good on this pick this weekend. I don't think he's a guy who is going to be too quick to panic and change his entire style off of a single loss. I mean, this is a very experienced team in 5M's.
For sure.
They'll have been talking through their draft strategy in that little break there, and I think they'll have come in with something new. They have opted to go for the first pick side, so they will have the option to first pick that Hecate if they feel that was the difference maker in that game.
And it's been a pretty big deal pretty much all day. I mean, since we saw
For sure.
the performance it had yesterday.
Yeah, and it is something where that will be part of what's dictating P's and B's. And I also think the Athena is going to be another one that dictates it.
Yeah.
It's either going to be like a ban, nearly guaranteed, because it's not really something 5M's has wanted to play. I think it's just a good throwaway ban, break up the Chalk, break up the Athena, and then with your first pick, you can kind of threaten the Hecate. If they didn't want to ban the Hecate, you have the Aphrodite. I think 5M's have a capability to set themselves up into a strong P's and B system. But what I don't want to see again, paired with that Mordred, or just in general, I really didn't like the Baron. I really liked the Sobek matchup into that Yemoja, and that's really what I thought they were going to pick last game. I was a little surprised about the Baron. I mean, we've talked about it being a little bit of a counter pick into Yemoja back in Smite 1, but that Sobek looked so good, and I don't know if it was just the entire team paired with that Yemoja that made the Sobek so much more appealing. But yeah, Bologna Mordred did not like, especially compared to that Sobek.
Yeah, I think you would think the Sobek would have a slightly better matchup into the Athena as well. When the Athena looks to dash taunt, the Sobek can interrupt with a tail whip or look for the pluck himself and maybe throw her into trouble. She is building quite tanky, but still in the late game, not going to be able to tank up the damage from Cyclone Spin and Benny Q. They're going to absolutely rip through anybody if they get chucked into them by that Sobek. Looking at the stat lines there, Cherry 0300 kill contributions that game. Bologna very, very quiet. But yeah, I agree with Bobby. I think that the Mordred didn't like the build particularly in the jungle there. Using the aspect, but not really having many procs to take advantage of that dash resetting every time you connect with one of your other abilities, I think really made that struggle to have as much impact as it could have.
I know in the jungle, at least just looking at like GPM, it's always unfortunate, and I think I've said this before. Typically, if you're in the 400s, which, you know, Leon was, that just kind of goes to show, first off, for a support, like that, you're not getting maybe as much. Like 500 is the, hey, we've been able to keep up. But cutting down, you know, when you're a losing team in the 400s, it's not too surprising. Cutting below that, though, especially for the jungle, despite having the 2 kill assists, I think that kind of goes to show, like, yes, the Mordred, you know, had its moments maybe early on, and then it just never did again, right? But the same thing could be said, like, the Bologna just never really got to have that moment either.
Yeah, and I do think part of the Mordred's issue, on top of, I don't think the build is very good, the aspect combination with the build, diving into the Yemoja also, she just sustains a lot of your damage. The Bologna and the Mordred don't have that threat into the Yemoja sustain. And we kind of talked about this a little bit where maybe that's the spot where you get Elion. He looks comfortable on this Yemoja.
Yeah, I would quite like to see that be the target. I feel like he's played this god so many times in this event so far that surely you have to be thinking, what else has he got? Is he as good on other picks? But no, 5M's sticking with the Thanatos ban. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Man, I'm just stoked where it picks and bans, baby!
I think it is a good ban against Johnny. Johnny looks very, very comfortable on it. Johnny, the Loki also, compared to his Thanatos,
worked fast.
A lot different.
Afro ban, that's an interesting one from 5M's. You would think this would be something that they would look to take first pick. Maybe this means they have their eye on something else, perhaps a Thor, or maybe that Hecate.
My issue here, though, is now Smokebreak should just throw away ban the Hecate, and you're kind of comfortable in the spot that you're at. They do throw away ban that Thor. Should be an insta-lock Hecate.
I would really, really expect so. Maybe seeing the discomfort from Cherry that came on the Bologna, they want to keep him in that position and keep Benko dominating the solo lane. He has been their win condition for a lot of these games. I don't know if we can throw that one out there, can we?
I'll stay silent.
I do think the Thor...
Leave Bobby alone.
Yeah, I like that one. And Smokebreak just going right back to the Yemoja. Again,
just yeah. Okay, anyway.
But P's and B's are so important. They fly through these. I have to get my stuff in.
Good point.
The Yemoja, Elion's going back to it. He looks really good on it. Now for 5M's though, the Yemoja Athena locked in. Smokebreak is really happy with what they got. I mean, Mike, if I'm Mike, Sobek is locked in, right? I mean, you could delay it if you wanted to.
Ooh, a switch shot.
I don't get why he picks the Sobek game 1 and he just doesn't go back to it game 2 and game 3. You said it's a good matchup into Athena. It's still a good matchup into Yemoja.
And the Chak will come through in solo one more time. We're going to have Chak Athena and Umoja, the same frontline combo last game that kind of dominated in all of these team fights, comes through. Jingwei to
This
pair
is the
with
same
that.
comp. They're literally just running back the same comp. In 5M's, they have the Geb. So this is going to be Cherry's Geb. This is going to be Ymir support. I don't know. I still am just not a fan of how 5M's have played this. Smoke Break would happily run back the exact same comp. They're comfortable with it. Yes, they don't get the Hecate, but it's just going to be a Morgan pick. Now they have Morgan Chalk Dive, and we see how good Food Drive for Gold played with that.
That guy's yoked.
Hazer got distracted. Geb, Pele locked in. Wool, Hecate, Ymir, we see it all. And the change up in the mid is the Morg.
I am so happy. If you are a Smoke Break fan, you should be so happy with this comp that they have drafted. This is exactly what they want, and I assume this is exactly kind of what they would expect to have if you could kind of let them free draft other than the Hecate. This is flawless dive comp. They have a backliner who's unkillable. They have engage. They have sustain. On the other side, 5M's, their comp 5-man is strong, but Geb is a difficult pick to play into Chalk. Chalk can just blink ult if he hits more than one person, the Geb is included. You can just one-shot before Geb shields can come off. I just do not like what 5M's did in this B's and B's.
I think my only concern here would be Sap on this Morgan. He's done a really good job so far of staying alive, of managing to survive this early pressure into him. But the Hecate and the Pele and the Geb and the Ymir, all four of these gods I feel like have a pretty good matchup into this Morgan. Gonna be able to pressure her out. She's gonna lose a lot of farm in the early game if they play this properly. I want to see focus onto that mid lane. The mid jungle fight goes handedly in 5M's favor. They need to snowball this game off of that advantage.
Yeah, and echoing that sentiment, Scream needs to play around Morgan as this Pele. It's a good matchup for Pele because she can knock up, find where she is very easily, and you can have a lot of bursts to kill Morgan before she can transform.
We'll have to see where they go. It is do or die. You get knocked out of the tournament if you lose this one. 5M's versus Smoke Break. Let's go to the casters and get it going.
There is a lot to unpack here, Trelly. Right prior to a game 3, game 2 is about to end, the fire alarm's gone off, but we power through, and now we're in here to a must-win game 3. 5M's Smoke Break. Winner take all, winner to the finals, loser goes home. Watching from the stands tomorrow. Man, these Mike teams have had some high-intensity, important semifinal and final matches over the last year or so. This one no different. And Cherry on the Geb, Mike on the Ymir, going double Guardian here in a must-win game 3.
I mean, shouts out to PBM's parents. They have to deal with this stress
I know.
every single year.
They're down there.
They're down there, and they're dealing with it just fine. They know. They got faith in their son. He's pulled it off many times before, Dave.
Wonder if can you just win in 3? Like, no, they can't. There's drama.
Yep, always has to be. And you know what I will say? There's some high points and low points to both drafts, right? You get Benny Q on the Hecate. That has been the most contested pick of the tournament, and it's in his hands. Scream looked fantastic on the Pele. Mike's on something aggressive with the Ymir.
Yep.
Cyclone has had hot and cold games on this Uller, but when it's a knockout situation, when your tournament life could end, he goes to it. I think that shows confidence, and I respect it.
I don't want to harp on the alarm and taking a break, but that actually slows down a bit of the momentum. You know, Smoke Break run through the last 10 minutes of game 2. A moment for both teams to reset then and readjust their draft a little bit. Now, Benko got huge by the end of game number 2, Trelly.
Oh, yeah.
Running back that chalk. You know, talk about Benny Q on the Hecate. Cyclone Spin still on the Uller. Is there enough to shred through this late game chalk should we get there?
I mean, they definitely have the damage to do something about it right now, obviously, if we're talking about like when you're able to.
He's got one axe and a dream.
There's the ability to shred through a tank. It's certainly there, Dave. It's just going to be about how much free farm is Benko able to grab. And Cherry is not going to be stopping him from getting any of it. You're on Geb here, so he's likely just going to be trying to proxy himself and stay as far away from Benko as possible. New addition, SMITE 2, Geb getting a bunny hop in the middle of the rollout, well, towards the end of the rollout, I should say, does mean you get hit the wave twice, which is great if you have conduit gems. That's why Geb is so good in the solo lane currently. You just kind of jump on the wave twice and it's gone. Feels really solid.
And Traditional Smite here, no aspects for anyone on either side. Cyclone spin and PBM over in duo. We have seen a back and forth time over in duo lane. And for the LA own back on the Emoja. You point out, nice little freeze. That's a nice wall from Mike. You point out though in game 2, by the end of that game, all LA own really needed to do was auto, heal up, sustain up your front line. And the Emoja looks pretty good. So that's gotta be something 5M's are aware of, dealing with this Emoja in the next 10, 15 minutes.
I mean, that's what late game Emoji truthfully is. I see a lot of people in my ranked games that just spam their one. That's not the benefit of the Emoja pick. Echrome.
Oh, nice Riptide.
Taking a lot of damage, but that's part of it. Echrome knows, hey, I'm gonna get healed, I'm gonna get Riptide. Not a lot of Omi regen at the moment for LAOM, but it'll come with time, it'll come with levels, it'll come with builds, so just relax. You know, he's gonna be spamming that sustain, which means anti-heal has to be a topic of conversation.
Yep.
Brawlers, Onk, Ruinous Arrow, Alernius Arrow even, like there are so many different options you could go for here, but you're gonna need most of them. Because that's just how much sustain has been offered to you by picking this Emoja. Not to mention Benko on the chalk. I mean, last game he was building a ton of tank stats, but also a ton of intelligence, which will help. Cherry has Blink.
Has Blink, has Ultimate, uses the ladder, saves the former. Just the presence. Over in mid, also an Ultimate let fly. Sap 7 transforms.
They traded.
Into the chalk, Benny Q, open the gates as well. So a chalk. You know, one is annoying enough, Trelly, but there's some good Morgan transformation options for Sap 7 here in a very pivotal game 3. Hold that thought, just see if there's any skirmishes breaking out as Mike rotates over towards mid. No ultimate for Benny Q. Sap 7 largely safe, but can you say the same for Johnny? That's his dash. In goes Scream. Is it a solo? Oh, he just needs his cooldowns. He's got him. First blood to Scream in the jungle.
Man, Johnny didn't have a blink. He opted to go for beads. I guess he was fearful of all the CC that 5M's has, but the blink would have definitely got him out of trouble there. Did not hit level 5, and Scream was able to get that volcanic lightning, no problem at all. Not a great start if you're this Athena. I mean, this is a pick that can really get bullied by something like Pele, especially with a lead. Benko and Scream walk past each other in the jungle because they recognize we are both no threat to each other.
Sap 7 walled off by Mike. Should be okay. And when you're worried, Trelly, about finding the backline later in the game, can you get to this Jing Wei? The first blood onto the Pele. A great way to start things off. I saw Scream locked in between games here during that smoke alarm break. Had the headphones on, unfazed, and right back at it here. Little extra gold in hand to start things off.
He was full Michael Phelps in it, and he loves to stay locked in that way.
Slapping his shoulders.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
I saw him do the butterfly. It was
They're just swimming right down the hallway. It was great.
It was crazy. He was zooming. But something that's been a topic of conversation this game has been objectives. Gold Fury just touched down. Once again, this isn't the Medusa. This isn't Uller. Cyclone Spin doesn't quite have the same level of DPS to just shred through a Gold Fury, but it has to be on both teams' minds. Smoke Break. Have Benko. He already has the gem of focus online. He could make a rotation, but look at this. They were, oh my goodness, he got bonked.
Yeah, he got bonked backwards, but is Cherio now the one who's actually in trouble? Has Blink, has his ultimate, use the ladder, but saves the former until he doesn't, blinks away. So the presence alone from Johnny has been important. PBM has had some presence over in mid. Open the gates, has actually pulled back Sap.
Uller?
Right into the waiting arms of PBM, and it's an Uller transformation. Served a purpose in the leap away. Shaky moments here.
Yep.
Early in game 3. Cherry's been on the back foot. Sap 7 has as well.
Yeah, he's just going for the base. I thought we were going to see the solo ball and the Gold Fury, just waiting for the team to show up. Open the gates a little bit off the mark. It was going for LAON. Ended up hitting Sap 7, who didn't quite have the bead, but used that transformation no problem. Just shows, I like that Benny Q just sends it out sometimes, right? Early
why
on,
not?
You've got decent enough CDR with the Soul Gem. Why not try and see if you can make a play happen? No beads available for LAOM. Opted into the Phantom Shell, fearful of what PBM can do on this Ymir. And with things like that, walled off Johnny, didn't quite hit the freeze, but now Mike's in trouble.
Mike has been active, but it may bite him. A River's Rebuke up, the waves crash down, and LAOM, the delivery of a kill over to Smoke Break. Mike a bit too active, maybe, in the Smoke Break side of the jungle.
I mean, didn't expect the rotation from Benko, that's for sure, but didn't have access to Blink either. That would have been a big deal. Last time this red buff got invaded, Well, that's
down.
Both types have innovated.
Echrome has ultimate. Cyclone Spin will not chase further on. An early Jingwei, bit of aggression here. Has the Braggies still stacking up the Transcendence and Cyclone Spin. Man, Trulli, we are not going to stop there. We're fighting on the right side of the map now. Cherry gets his ultimate back. Scream avoids the knockup from Benko, but over out of mid is Sap Seven. Everyone low on smoke break, but no follow-up from range for 5M's.
Still want this blue buff. 5M's has Mike showing up. He's got his blink back, and there's the gates. The blink.
They're
comes
open
in for Benko. And now they're close.
And now they're close.
Blue buff
Nobody.
was taken. No one went through.
That's right. The invade game has been important here early on, Trelly. 5M's feels like they've been asking a lot of the questions. Smoke break, not giving up any impactful kills just yet outside of that first blood. Scream finding an invade, but 5M's wanting to stay active after a game 2 loss, not wanting to shy away from this big moment.
You can tell that Scream is just getting way more aggressive than Johnny, and I think that's by nature of that first blood, right? You have the extra gold in your pocket, you finish some items a little bit quicker, and that means that Johnny, even if he could trade, which he can't just yet, can only get active on an immobile character like Mike. Missed the rocket jump, but has the blink. Is that enough?
Oh, but he gets knocked up on the backside. Benko. No, it's Sap on the transformation, who's forward. Mike lives this time. Man, that Ymir has just been the target. Blink down. Let's jump on top of him. Leon River's Rebuke. Maybe you wouldn't be surprised to see those walls come up around the Ymir here in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Phantom Shell built, so you might as well use it as much as possible to try and bully the few people that can actually get stuck inside of the walls.
Is that surprising? No Phantom Shell?
Yeah, it's a choice, right? But the Ymir, I think you need to get aggressive. Mike knows that, so it's a risk he's willing to take. He can blink out of the walls if he needs. It's not gonna happen every single time, but you know, this case, he's able to stay safe. Doesn't have the blink for now, though. 5M's might have to watch out and just wait for walls from the Ymir, try and initiate for themselves. But I still think that Sap 7 and Leon together are able to create a lot of problems in the mid lane.
Sure are.
If Scream is not hanging around. He's kind of been that X factor, and now he's hanging around duo lane.
Scream over on left. Double Riptide from Leon spells the end of this considered gang for Scream. Pele's been all over the place here at Trelly. Again, first blood, been just shy of a couple more kills. You're seeing Scream very dialed in and aware of the map. 1,700 gold. No gold lead is safe here this weekend. You'd prefer to have one than give one up. And Scream a large portion of that pressure here in the early game that's built up 5M.
I'm still keeping my eyes on the solo laners. I mean, Benko and Cherry have still been very clear about where they're trying to get active, where they're trying to make their rotations to. Cherry's been really on point with just proxying waves to make sure he doesn't lose anything, but Benko's been on point with taking the side farm, and more specifically those little cinders that spawn at Fire Giant. It's only like 1 to 2 intelligence each time you grab it, but Benko stacks that up to the point where late game, he's chunking a lot more than you would expect, and it is something that Cherry has not even attempted to go for.
The Scream gonna hit Paydirt yet again. No, Sap 7 makes it away, open the gates. Misses again from Benny Q. Man, PBM walks forward. Smoke break do as well. River's Rebuke catches out the Ymir. And it's Smoke break starting to ask some questions to the 5M support.
And that's just a great call by Smokebreak. They recognize, hey, our team's getting really aggressive over on the Sap. We got to make something happen on left lane, and they do just that. I think if Mike knows that his team is fighting over in mid, he cannot afford to step up that far. But look at this. Naga minions have been dropped onto Pyro, and Scream and Benny just trying to DPS it down. They don't have much, but there's no one even close from Smokebreak.
So far, game of missed opportunities for Scream. He is 3 levels up. We talked about, and the desk talked about XP per minute. Pyromancer, not a missed opportunity for 5M. So first neutral objective to the team that still maintains their lead. The desk talked about that XP per minute. Cyclone Spin, just shy of hitting the mark on Echrome. Scream was behind there in game 2 by a pretty healthy margin to Johnny. I imagine the script flipped a bit there. Yeah, 200 ahead of Johnny, who is 3rd to last on the XP per minute charts. So Scream has been farming, has been active. So that's worth something. It's only the 1 kill so far, but this Pele is starting to spool up.
But Dave, the same thing that happened last game is happening here over in solo. Benko is getting a lead because he owns the side farm. Everything on the right side of the map, everything in Fire Giant belongs to the Chalk. And if history repeats itself, like I think it might, we're going to see this chalk start to rotate towards mid soon. Maybe after Prophetic Close gets finished up, maybe after he gets a little tank here. But targets like BennyQ, like Cyclone Spin, that are just full damage, are going to start to chug. And look at that. He's got 12 stacks already. That is a ton of strength in it.
Is Scream gonna find a kill this time? He should, and he does. Johnny ults to the side, but it's not far enough. But Scream still has some gas in the tank, making a double for Scream on the Pele in mid. And the 3-level lead has come to play in the mid lane.
Man, I can't believe Johnny opted to ult. Maybe he just had to ult as quickly as possible for CC immunity, but to the person that's still in the waking arms of Scream, Gold Fury started up. Echrome not very close. Leon doesn't want to go for it. Another neutral objective going the way of 5M's.
5M's have been on it. Now they have to maintain this right for the next few minutes because Smoke Break clawed themselves back in game number 2. Scream has been fighting Trelly, had found first blood, had tried a few times, and now adds 2 more to his belt in a skirmish in mid.
Watch how it all happened. Gets the knockup immediately. Johnny says, I'm gonna ult to the quickest person to us. Sap says, instead of bailing, I'm gonna go in here. You could have got Johnny out, and I think that's a big difference maker. Unfortunately, doesn't happen, and because of a great wall from Mike, sets up the double kill. Just a heads up play. Johnny said, bro, I need you to get me out. And he said, what if we killed them? And they did.
What if we maybe pick up a couple of kills? Seems
I mean,
okay.
realistically, he couldn't have closed that much gap, but I think he could have got him closer to tower.
Now, remember Scream earlier on built the Reaper, right? That was a pretty important piece of that build. Totally different style of build here for Scream in game 3.
Yeah, Stampedes, Reaching Gargoyle, just going for more base damage and active items. I'm going to CC you, I'm going to be slow immune, I'm going to run away. It's worked out for him, but this is also what happened in game number 1 when Benko got a lead and Johnny got behind. They did a swap. Johnny is now clearing solo lane and Benko's sort of fishing around. Can I find a kill on a Cyclone Spin? Can I find a speed buff invade? So far, nothing's sticking, but the chalk is looking to make a difference. If Cyclone Spin gets too far forward, like he is right now, Benko could chase him down easily. And remember, Johnny has ult. There could be an Athena here in seconds.
Any moment, Johnny
He didn't
can
see
join
him.
this fight. For now, Spinner will stay alive. The looming threat, this level 16 chalk. I'm talking plenty about the Scream level lead in the jungle. Glad you're shouting out Benko with his level lead, 2-level lead, over in solo lane. Is that okay though for 5M's? Are you okay with Geb taking some time? Are you just needing him later on with a 3rd Screeching Gargoyle for your team in the team fights?
I mean, we'll see. At the moment, Sherry gets the job done. I've been really impressed with the pre-Cataclysm Blink CC that he can set up for his team. It makes it very easy for BennyQ to go for as well. But something that's been going under the radar here, Echrome level 17, most fed on the map by a wide margin level-wise. He's been just AFK farming. This Jing Wei is an absolute threat. Like, you don't quite have the itemization to just shred through everyone, but it'll show up.
Leon is here. Is he going to get behind Scream? Is Scream going to be able to pick up a kill first? Avoids a lot of the oncoming damage, but a chalk has sent an ultimate on towards Scream, who dashes away, avoids the onslaught, but he goes back in. Johnny is going to be in this fight here any moment. Joins, and that should be the disengage. Cherry made me think twice, but a tower over and right. No kills to be seen.
And make no mistake, that was Sap 7. Benko was clear in mid. He's essentially just doing side quests at the moment, just trying to get farm wherever he can and sort of let his team do their own thing. No sort of towers dropping on the left side of the map, but the tier 1 over on right. We put some more gold in the pocket of 5M's. I mean, Cyclone knows exactly when he can make these aggressive plays, step up, look for an axe, look for a combo, but the second anyone, he gets the inkling that someone's nearby, he beelines for his farm and runs away, which is the mark of someone who's locked in. You don't get over aggressive because you think you can win the 1v1. You only take as much as you're allowed to without getting too overzealous.
This duo lane farm been at a breakneck pace, both level 18. 16 minutes, the 1 kill for Echrome, the difference maker. 1 Gold Fury added for 5M's a few moments ago. Don't let it be lost on you, because it almost got lost on me. 5,000 gold in the leader, 5M's through objective and neutral camp control, 3,000 experience as well. A lot of eyes have been on Mike as the 2 lone deaths here for 5M's. But really the rest of the map has been going well. We have not seen that double chalk big team fight. We might see it here if this Pyromancer gets stuck.
Scream from the left side of the map, only one not around, but NEQ is set up to get a massive open the gates, hiding in the grass. Can he find the Mez into it? No.
Close.
Leo knows it's coming, jumps into the Riptide immediately. You can tell they wanted the Pyro fly in from Echrome. He shows up.
They're doing it.
Nothing gets pulled yet.
5M's on the Pyro. Echrome's eyes turn towards Scream. Knock-up avoided. Pyro drops, reset, leashed back a couple of times. Melting at a medium pace, half HP on the objective. Smoke break, a steal chance. An axe from Benko could take it away. And Cyclone Spin confirms the Pyromancer. But now, fight is on. If you're Smoke break, 5M's want nothing to do with it. Objective and out.
Scream could get cut out here if Leon shows up in time. Remember, no Phantom Shell available. Do you have the ult?
Beats in 5 seconds.
Would need a Riptide to set it up.
Whoa.
Oh, Gold Fury's getting
Whoa,
started
it's a
up
solo
here.
Gold Fury here for Echrome, but in goes Scream, a River's Rebuke. It's defensive, and Scream able to wiggle his way out of the left side. Gold Fury stalled. Echrome, though.
Your right tower is
The
under
half.
attack.
And the rest of 5M's grouping surging behind their jungler here on the left side.
I mean, it looks like a wasted ult, but Scream did his job there. He got Fire Giant done, River's Rebuke down. That's well worth it for 5M's and the Pele. Especially if that Gold Fury goes down. I mean, Echrome has shown he's got plenty of DPS. First to level 20 on the map.
Yep.
This Jing Wei
At 18 minutes.
is going to be absolutely spreading through the squishier targets. I mean, he's 7 levels up on Mike. You got to think about how a tank is going to try and stand up to the Jing Wei. Even Scream was like, I don't want to mess with this guy.
Is it his job? Scream?
Scream does have to get in his face, but I think Cherry is going to be a big help with that, right? The Geb, the shield, the blink, the movement. You can sort of wiggle in and out of aggro and try and, you know, whittle down the damage before your HP bar goes down. But Sap 7 has been consistently going into Benko, so 2 chocks in the backline as well. Makes it very hard to try and dive a Jing Wei. You know, that's a lot of disruption, damage, silence. Echrome should be relatively safe with Beads, ult, and these frontliners in front of him.
Jing Wei, one of the safest picks. Get over on the left side. Maybe a trap set here from Scream. Cheerio. Haven't seen much of him in these fights. Blink away and an ultimate from Benko. Initiation utility now off the map, and a 5-man grouping from 5M's over on right. But Shrelly, Smoke break, a bit of an envelopment here. Sap 7 over in mid.
Sap's in the back line trying to find the assassinate. Fire's not getting low. This is a fight.
5M turns. Cherry misses his ultimate. Is that now an escape tool for 5M's? They missed their Cataclysm. Looks like it is. Start on the FG, a look for the fight. You come up a bit short.
Don't get walled.
Now Smoke break will get walled off. Sap 7 knocks up a few. Open the gates. Oh no, it pulls back Benko. Mike turns the tables. Looks back, one stray wall could make the difference here. In goes Scream, and Benko is deleted.
There's River's Rebuke to try and split it up. Looks like everyone's gonna be okay with that one. 5M setting back up towards the Fire Giant. Smoke break has 1 ultimate and it's Echrome, but the target is the Fire Giant.
There is a Runic Bomb for Cherry. It's confirmed for 5M's. 5v4, stun out of Sap 7. Forces BQ on the back foot. Cyclone Spin from downtown forces Johnny to get back in this fight. Mike survives thanks to his jungler. And Scream on a warpath at 402.
But NEQ's gone, the health bar is too low. 5M's have to give up on the Fire Giant for now. I saw a lot good and a lot bad with that engage. I mean, Sap 7 just doesn't have the DPS to come out of stealth in the middle of 3, especially with the ultimate down. That all starts with PBM getting a beautiful wall to force out that ultimate defensively on a Sap 7. The Morrigan with no transformation is not much of a threat at the moment. Maybe later on in the game when you have a bunch of intelligence built and you can one-shot, but that is not where we are currently. Scream on this tanky style Pele build has been so annoying to try and deal with. I mean, even with the DPS that Smoke break has built through Echrome, through Sap, through Benko, they cannot seem to chop through that health bar.
Got double Runic Bombs now around this Fire Giant. Ultimate's coming back up. Wall out of PBM separates this fight. Fire Giant about a quarter of the way down. DPS is there, but not committed to. Axe finds its target. It's Benko. The wall, for better or worse, is sequestered Benko back in the FG pit. 5M's, I mean, very cautious around this Fire Giant. Not full-on commitment. Last Smoke break, maybe reinitiate. Good moment maybe, I'm just pausing, good moment to maybe look back and see exactly what Scream was able to get done in that last fight.
Scream had the wraparound play. Knew exactly where he could get to the back line with ease. But at this point, you're just picking up the free targets, right? Everyone else is creating space for him. BennyQ goes down, sure, but this Pele has slow immunity, has a silence, and has plenty of lifesteal, hiding in the grass, waiting to see if Smokebreak is going to step forward. Again, it's been Mike. The Ymir is still the initiator. Cherry, I've seen this Geb go for plays many a times, but it's usually off the back.
Aw, man.
Just a little backstop.
Well, hello. Well, hey, how you doing?
Not good.
Not great.
Not at the moment.
No, we're 6K down, 5K, thanks for asking.
I think Cherry right now is checking the blink through this wall because that's what happened last time.
Yeah.
He ulted into that wall because he didn't blink over, and he's like, okay, can I put it here? Can I go here? I know I can blink over this wall. I've done it before. Done it thousands of times, but Menko by himself, surrounded by 3.
And Cyclone Spin, make no mistake, has plenty of damage. So does BennyQ from way over the wall. And what a target. Now one of the 2 chalks, presumably one guaranteed chalk off the map.
BBM still looking to wall. Not quite pulling the Fire Giant just yet.
Sap.
Sap 7 descends.
That's a clone. That's not really Sap, that's a clone. And Trelly, the Fire Giant, finally committed on.
Scream has a wraparound once again. They're not privy to this smoke
He's
break.
gonna find E-Chrome.
Doesn't know what Pele's
He's gonna
wrapping
find
up behind him.
Oh, but turned around does E-Chrome. Fire Giant low, but he's half HP. Gates opened, but beats out by Smoke Break. Rivers Rebuke up, and down goes Leon. But Scream is still in the back, and he's nearly deleted Sap 7. The damage is flipped just a bit, and in comes the cavalry, but it doesn't matter because E-Chrome has turned things around.
E-Chrome gets some good damage. Cherry, Scream very low, but Cyclone and BennyQ go untouched this fight. The carries of 5M's are worth their weight in gold at the moment with the amount of damage they can get off. They have to back up though, despite having the 1-man advantage. Don't feel too confident going for any sort of Fire Giant pull. Just farm, just take your buffs and play this one slow. Smoke Break have no way of knowing this, but Pyromancer would be absolutely free if they went for it here. But they don't have that ward coverage, and that's the thing. If you have vision, you go, oh, you all back, you give us a free Pyro Bomb, and now we can sort of contest that burst that you've been holding over our heads all game. Not going to be the call, and instead, just sort of grouping around the objective. Now if they go in, you gotta worry about Scream, you gotta worry about Cherry.
Right.
Too little, too late. Let's do a relic roundup. Shell from LAO down for about 50 seconds. Beads from Johnny, very important relic, down for 80 seconds. But not like 5M's are much better off. I mean, Cherry can't blink in for 3 minutes. No beads for about 1.5 minutes from Scream. And Pyromancer juggled, but ultimately dropped by 5M's. They didn't feel too good about it yet.
Cyclone Spin, just as important a target as E-Chrome is on the other side. Was completing that build. 5M's in a great spot here, but Charlie, this was around the gold lead, around the situation that we saw game 1 immediately flip on its head. Right around when Benko got a little more tank. Johnny got a little more tank. Starting to get to that.
Invis Rock.
Rolling forward is Chalk. E-Chrome's had to airstrike away. Scream still has his ultimate. Big piece of utility now gone if E-Chrome has to step forward and fight.
Yeah, I mean, there was a stealth rock coming towards you. Could have had a big cataclysm, and Cherry's still looking to find it. LAO might be the target. Here comes Sap.
What are they gonna do? What are 5M's looking for? And open the gates, catches out LAO. Then Cyclone Spin, sending out the axe for what could be a final Fire Giant confirmation. Benko lets his own axe go forward, and Smokebreaker here.
Plenty of damage, plenty of CC, but look at the
Well,
target.
Scream.
It looks like
Scream.
Johnny's in trouble.
Scream! Eyes Johnny, and Scream and BennyQ get him. Cyclone Spin with another. 5M's have arrived. They've looked for this team fight, and they've been able to pick up 3. Nearly a 4th as Benko escapes with a blink.
Benko has to run. This Fire Giant is all but confirmed. Sap 7 said, you know what, I've got ult, I have beads, but I want nothing to do with that engagement. Was not grouped with the team. And now you lose your Fire Giant for it. There was some low health bars, but again, BennyQ,
FG.
Cyclone Spin, untouched. The carries, Dave, no one's getting to him. I mean, Benko can't afford to step up. There's so much CC coming their way. LAO doesn't have any sort of CC immunity that he could use. So he ends up just getting locked off there. There was no way he was gonna get rip-tided out because they have so much CC that they're covering the jungle with.
Few tier 2 towers left, a couple runic bombs as well. Big difference. I said, this is around when Smoke Break came back in game 2. 5M's was never able to confidently secure a fire giant with the lead they had in game 2. Now, momentum on their side. Surprisingly, 26 minutes, this would be the second fury of the game. Should confidently go over to 5M's. Smoke Break over on right, 5M's on left. You got a couple runic bombs. What kind of push you hope to see?
I think they don't have to split up here. I mean, at this point, Smoke Break is looking for an ambush. They're looking to group up and find themselves a lone pick. I want to see 5M's as a unit 5 strong. They certainly can do a little 3-2 here for the tier 1s, but if you're stepping into tier 2, you better have your whole squad, unless you have the information that Smoke Break has given to you. That they have 2 carries on the right side of the map grabbing tier 1 tower. That means this is effortless. Step forward. Grab as much as you can. They've already showed themselves on the wave, so we know they're not coming over here.
They're not defending these anyway.
Middle enemy tower.
Bomb still in
Your
pocket.
team has
Obsidian
destroyed
Dagger
the
for
left
Scream.
enemy tower.
Shout outs to
It's under
Doug, the
attack.
MVP always. More damage to the tier 2 in mid. Scream playing confidently. Knows he's got Cherio on the wraparound behind, but a sudden surge from Smoke Break over in mid.
Your right tower
Would have caught
is under
Scream.
attack.
Cherio off guard. Smoke Break. Look for that initiation. 5M's also can suddenly initiate. Mike, though, a minute and a half from Blink. Missing some of that gap close on the Ymir.
Cherry wants to go over the wall, man. He still has that invis helmet, can go in at any moment. Mike, a good wall. Could be the start. Open the gates. Gets the beads out. No one gets pulled, but that's a good active to have down.
Well, PBM, forward freeze on to Benko. Where did he go? Dropped, and the floor being mopped with Smoke Break. 5M step forward, still a couple runic bombs, and those could go down onto this mid lane Phoenix. The one pick is all 5M's need.
Phoenix has to go down here. Still some low health bars. Got to take this one slow. Mid Phoenix drop. 5M's are going to retreat, knowing they got the first dub of many to try and break open the base of Smoke Break. I didn't hate the damage that I saw coming in from Smoke Break, but you got to expect by now, if you see some CC coming your way, it's going to be chained together. And Cherry, once again, still has some CC left. The knockup could set up Benny Q. His ultimate's going to be coming off cooldown any second now. Another open the gates. Could just be the end of this set.
A pivotal game 3, 5M's one fight away, one moment away from heading back to the grand finals.
Whoa.
Oh, it's a big wall and a big kill. Benny Q and Cyclone Spin combined for 2, and Smoke Break without their jungle in mid.
Got some tanks and they have E-Chrome. Is 5M's feeling like the end call? Seems like no. They're gonna retreat this one. What a beautiful wall from PBM. You can't be grouping up. If you're Sap and Johnny, neither one of you can get over that wall unless you use their ult. I made a mistake. They're not leaving, Dave.
No,
they just wanted
they're
the
still
minions.
here.
They might be stepping in to end this game.
PBM started 0-2. He has since gone 0, 1, and 12. 5M's resurge after game 2, and we'll see you tomorrow. A big moment after game 2, and Trelly, the fire alarms are going off.
Yep.
Smoke Break back in, and like we saw in game 1, a slight pause, a slight break actually serves 5M's well.
Yep.
And they set the pace, lay down the gauntlet, and run over Smoke Break in game 3.
They're able to recollect. And honestly, this crowd is very 5M's favor. They were very excited, but you got to give your props to Smoke Break. They came a long way.
Yep.
They gave us a hell of a last set leading into the grand finals and brought us to 3.
And Trelly, think about this. If 5M's are able to win 3 tomorrow,
That's true.
this is not the last
That's a good
one
point.
game that they have to win to take it all. They could go 3-0 against Risk tomorrow, and then reset to a best of 1, and they got to win 1 game again. So they got a little practice depending on how tomorrow goes.
Yeah, that is the penalty for falling down to the losers bracket, but they fought their way back in, and they seem pretty hyped about it. I can see them celebrating over there. And they deserve it, man. Great adaptations. I love the way they changed up the draft. They realized what was working, what wasn't working, and they played their god picks perfectly.
It was a pleasure, my friend. a good one between 5M's and Smoke Break. 5M's on top. Masterclass from Cyclone Spin here in game number 3. Just so good, in fact, talk to him on stage.
Hello, thank you guys up there. Awesome cast, and congratulations to 5M's and Cyclone Spin who's standing here with me. You guys had a long day. How was it holding things together to make a long day end on such a good note?
After we lost the Risk, we kind of just took a break and collected ourselves, and then we just came together for this game.
Now take me through the fights throughout that game, because there were moments, especially in game 3, where it felt like Smoke Break was starting to recapture that energy they had in game 2. How were you guys able to kind of keep them calmed down to give yourselves the win?
We just kept reminding ourselves to calm down, and if we group up together and play together, we wouldn't lose the fight.
Makes a lot of sense. A lot of signs out there for you specifically. And now tomorrow, you've made it to the grand finals, a rematch against Team Risk from today. Do you guys think you took enough lessons from your matchup today? Are you ready for the match tomorrow? You think you can take them down?
Yeah, of course.
There you go. I don't know if there's anything else needs to be said. Thanks for talking with me. Cyclone, congratulations. And Desk, time to break it down, guys.
Thanks so much, Mal, and of course, thanks to everyone who's been tuning in so far today as we finally get to close things down. So I guess for the last time on this Saturday, I've got Inbound and I've got Hazer sitting with me, and we are going to have a treat. I mean, what a feast of a game is the way I would describe it. It's so much that goes right, again, on both sides. But really, the engage, it feels like, from 5M's, I mean, constantly choosing fights, constantly forcing relics, constantly pushing the envelope.
Yeah, and I think you got to shout out Scream for that start to that game.
Yep.
On the back foot, Johnny is immediately, because Scream is willing to just go at you, take those fights, and really put a lot of pressure onto you. And it made it really hard for Smoke Break to play their engage dive comp. Smoke Break is the one that wants to start fights, whether it's Sap, whether it's Benko, and then have the Athena ult in, but through the entire game, they weren't allowed to do it. Scream was always looking for a flank, and then if Scream couldn't find something, Mike was finding something. Benny had some wonderful Hecate ults in that game, and then the usage of it on that tier 2 in middle where missed it, but he gets the beads, and then Mike teleports in right after, freeze the Chalk, kill the Chalk instantly. It was all around just a really phenomenal game by 5M's.
Yeah, absolute cinema performance there. They really, really just picked this comp and executed it to a T. Pele in a game-deciding set, again, a PBM team. Last time out, it was Laspra. This time, it's Scream on that pick. Looked absolutely outstanding. And they recognized what we said in the initial desk, what they needed to do. They had pressure in mid. They had pressure in jungle. And they abused that side of the map. They were invading reds. They were getting early kills onto the Athena. And they made it so that Smoke Break, by the time they got to the team fighting stage, they were too far behind to execute their comp.
I mean, this team plays well on both sides, competitive, but like you said, I think you can see specifically Johnny and Sap were kind of high prio targets and were constantly put under pressure, and you can just see that in the KDAs, but it really did feel like that was the, hey, get rid of them.
It was the first time today, I think, we've seen the Cyclone Spin that we saw yesterday,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I really think Cyclone Spin was back on it in that game. In the post-game interview, seemed cool, calm, collected, not a guy to panic. And I think in that game decider, really good experience from him, and he just absolutely crushed it on the Ulu.
6-0-4 is hard to argue with. You know, we saw earlier, sometimes it can fall just a little bit flat, but it is more than enough this time.
And I think this game felt so clean from 5M's against what Smoke Break wanted to do that it feels like you could just call out each individual player. Like, Mike had a couple early deaths, but with those deaths, it's not like he's just wandering and dying for no reason. He's creating space. He's pushing the enemy into the jungle. They're using a lot of Umoja ults onto him. And it's the same thing with Cyclone. I think Cherry on the Geb played a pretty good game after farming through most of the early game. Each of these players individually came together really well. And I mean, it's something you said a few times. They really played like a team. They team fought very, very well. and it was really beautiful to see because it was really good 2v2s. It was really good 3v3s. When they dove, it wasn't like one player, which we've seen a few times with Cherry now, where he dived by himself, nobody's there with him, and the fight's just completely messed up. Cherry would go in, and there would be people with him. Scream would be with him, whether it was Mike, whether the Hecate ult was coming. It seemed like they were all on the same page and they were all firing on all cylinders for this third game.
Well, the prophecy was broken this time around. It will not be Smoke Break who are getting the rematch. Instead, as we look at the bracket, you'll see it is in fact 5M's versus Risk. One we saw today, a best of 5 we've already played, but we'll do it one more time tomorrow for the grand finals. Put a little spice added onto that one, because if 5M's do win, and you'll see this one again as we swap over and look at the schedule in just a second. If 5M's win, that is not the end of it. Because they are coming from the loser's bracket, that would mean we'd get a bracket reset. Now, I'm going to be completely candid with you guys. Playing a best of 5 and then having to play another, let's say, best of 5 as a full reset would be ridiculous.
Insane.
And I don't think any of the players would stand for it. What it means is there will be a best of 1 reset. So, if you win 3-0 or 3-1 or 3-2 and your 5M's tomorrow, well, then you got to do it one more time, and you get to push and lift that trophy up into the air and be the SMITE 2 Founders Series champion. Now, you'll also notice the grand finals kicking off around noon. We'll see, it's a little flex time on top of that one when we jump into it, because prior to that, you're not going to win and miss out on the Titan Talk. The Titan Talk, which I have good authority that they're going to be talking about, literally a whole lot of things that if I say, I might get in trouble, so I won't.
Guys, I'm not kidding. Show up to the Titan Talk. So many exciting things they're bringing up. You'll want to show up.
It is genuinely going to be very exciting. If you thought that the free-to-play patch was exciting, you're going to want to tune into Titan Talk, because we're going to be
awesome.
breaking into. It's going to be really, really
awesome.
fun.
One of my favorite gods might be getting teased. We'll see. Who knows?
Who knows?
Wow.
What happened? And if you know Hazer really well, then you probably have at least like a handful of gods to choose from.
It's neat.
It's Neath. Finally, I was really hoping they'd release Neath one of these
Could have
days.
made a Fenrir joke there, but yeah, let's leave that in Smite 1 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm down with that. No, but you're going to want to make sure you tune in. So the time that we've been starting the last couple of days, that 11 a.m. PST, which is 2 p.m. EST, that's when Titan Talk's going to go live. Make sure that you're there. An hour and a half later, we'll be going live with the grand final. So you're going to want to make sure that you tune in. More importantly, though, after 2 really, really long ones, I want to say thank you for tuning in the last couple of days. We've got one more ahead of us. So from myself, Inbound, Hazer, all of the other casters, everyone back in production, everyone here in the HyperX Arena Las Vegas, and of course, everyone at Hi-Rez Studios, thank you all so much for tuning in. And we'll see you tomorrow for the finals.
Looking like a thunderstorm, here we go, You're easy to remember, so hard to forget. Baby, it's a coward way you strut. How could I not worship every inch your feet have touched? Baby, run away with me. You kill it lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. There's only one of you, baby. Run away with me. Don't leave me lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. There's no more clouds on the freeway. Now tell me you'll stay. Gonna now and last someday. Here we go. Rose bed, fancy hotels, girl, you know. Baby, run away with me. You kill it lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. There's only one of you, baby. Run away with me. Don't leave me lonely. You make my eyes unsee. All the crazy. You make my heart believe. And we'll stay in bed all day. Make love and